Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games and Quick Hotfix. This is Out of Bounds. I am your guest host for this evening. We have a great show for you tonight. Just a few quick reminders before we get into that. SGDQ 2023 is coming up May 28th through June 4th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're interested in attending the event, registration is open now until May 3rd. Nope, May 7th. You can go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. Also on this weekend, we are having a special Sonic in the Parallel Worlds, which is going to be a week-long event featuring Sonic fan games, mods, and more, starting at noon each day. You can use !Sonic in Twitch chat to learn more. With all that said, we have Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I will hand it over to our runner, and I'll let her introduce everybody.
Hello! Hi, I'm Pippi in a top hat, or just Pippi. The top hat might be evident. And this is Skyward Sword SD for the Nintendo Wii. And this game has a bit of a reputation when it comes to glitches. I seem to recall hearing the sentence passed around that it's the game that requires a master's degree in computer science to understand. Which I unfortunately don't have one of those, so I'm really hoping to prove that wrong for you. But what I do have is assistance. Hey, assistance, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm the assistance for today. I'm Gymnast86. I found some glitches in this game, so, and I also don't have a master's in computer science, only a bachelor's, so.
Great, I had a minor. Do you think we can scoot those together and make a master's?
Yeah, I'm sure degrees are additive like that.
We'll how
make
it
work.
works.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, perfect. We're definitely qualified to be giving this. Yeah, welcome to Skyward Sword. We've got a lot of glitches lined up tonight, and a lot of silly ones as well as useful ones. But we are in the rare position for this showcase of not having to rush through the very important question of what is back in time? So, hey, what is back in time? Back in time is probably, if you've seen a Skyward Sword run, the thing that you remember. It's the thing where we play the game on the title screen. And normally we just kind of have to go into it immediately, but we can start pretty slow and easy. Get our feet wet before we get into a full-scale college lecture on comp sci, right? That's how it works?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Neat. Let me make sure I'm opening the right file. That one. So we're gonna start actually with not comp sci, but with a little bit of existentialism, which is, so what happens, when you bonk? When you die?
Link screams.
Yeah, okay, so that's the first thing that happens. So we're gonna be dying a lot tonight. Death is very important in this run. Because after you die, obviously it's going to come up with the, do you want to continue adventuring? And we have continue or quit. Thankfully, it's in English for now. And if I were to hit the big fancy continue button, it would essentially write to the game that I should respawn Link immediately. And put him on the map as soon as possible. But then it's going to take a while to spawn in the map and then spawn in Link, right? That's generally the operation of events, something like that.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But this is working linearly, so it's going to go from A to B to C. And what if I open the home menu in between? So I hit A to hit continue, which is going to tell it to respawn Link as soon as possible. But it hasn't loaded in a map yet. And if I hit reset, just let it know that I'm really sure that I do. Oh, that's the existential screams that happen when you find out what happens when you die. I think.
Indeed.
So what we've now done by hitting reset is replaced the map that it was trying to load with the Skyloft map that's normally just like spinning in the background when you're on the title screen. And that's a fully playable map, as it turns out. We can do things on it. I can run in circles. I can do pretty much anything you can do in the regular game. I can get hearts.
Yeah.
Neat. I can do pretty much anything as long as I don't do any of the many things that'll crash it, because the game doesn't actually like being here. It's not one of its favorite things.
The game was not programmed for the expectation that you will have control of Link while selecting your files.
Yeah. And that's also a good thing to note, is that this glitch actually does work in 3 Zelda titles. It works in Skyward Sword, The Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. But it's the most broken in Skyward Sword because I can do this. And as I'm clicking on files and looking at them, it's actually loading in data. I think it's trying to load in data so it can display these nice little graphics that show what's on the file. That was what I was told anyway. But there's a lot of this that's kind of conjecture. But it actually will load in the state of the world that is on the file that I am clicking on, and try to put that into the active memory. Try to. Sometimes succeed. But in the other games where you can load in on the title screen, you can't really access the file menu. So,
yeah, it's in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, the game loads you onto a different map to select your files. But for Skyward Sword, they decided to not do that. So you can just go off of the splash screen or the fancy-looking title screen to select your files without triggering a reload, which means that Skyward Sword is the only back-in-time in a Zelda game where you can control Link and select files at the same time, which, as Pippi mentioned, is what really makes it powerful in Skyward Sword compared to the other games.
Yeah, we can also do plenty of fun things, such as I can just go back to the splash screen. This is the splash screen. We'll be seeing it a lot during the run. If I leave my game here for too long, it'll start playing a trailer to show us what to expect from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. But we actually don't want to watch that because we already know what to expect, and it's a broken, buggy mess. But if I would like to stay on the splash screen and admire it for longer, I can actually hit the minus button to open this prompt that asks if I'd like to view the Wii Motion Plus instructional video. I don't want to say yes. I might want to say yes. I don't want to say yes because that'll actually take us to a very long video. And it's a lot of fun when you're running in Japanese and you have to figure out how to menu out, but all of the back buttons are in Japanese. So I would like to ideally say no, but that's going to be helpful because it lets us stay on the splash screen, which sometimes we want to do for one reason or another. Well, you'll see plenty of them throughout the run. And it also allows us to press A. So if I press A, now I can run. Neat. I love the A button. I hope no one ever takes it away from me. But all right, so we have files. What do we do with them? We got 3 of them.
We do have 3 of them. We can load in data.
We can load in data. But this also gets even more broken when we consider that the Skyloft map has save statues. I'm just gonna jump in a void. By the way, it's trying to play a cutscene here of one of the Knight Academy people coming to save me or something. I don't know. It is broken. It's broken. But here's a save statue. I'm on the title screen, but that doesn't mean I can't save my file, right? Like...
Well, yeah, save statue's right there.
Yeah. So I could hit just save if I wanted to. I have plenty of options. A lot of this is going to be menuing through multiple menus at the same time. But notably, what we have a couple of options that get introduced by a save statue. This is where it becomes helpful to think about Link's position. I like to think about Link's position being made up of two things: the map he's on and XYZ coordinates. We can use a save statue to manipulate both of those things. If I hit start and save at the same time, it's gonna get a little confused for a bit. Everything's fine. It just plays some animations out of order, and now I'm in the middle of nowhere. This is my favorite place to be. But what it just did was took the coordinate values for that save statue, so where I would be on that map, and it placed them on the wrong map, whatever map I had open before, which in this case was Linearu Gorge. And those values in Linearu Gorge are out of bounds, so I can see the playable area down here. We're gonna see that lots later. But I can also just run over here, and there's a ton of walkable terrain. Welcome, we are out of bounds on out of bounds. Who would have thought?
Wow, that's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, Skyward Sword is the game of huge swaths of out-of-bounds collision.
It does have a limit.
It does have a limit, but it goes a lot further than you would probably think, especially compared to other Zelda games, which just, like, basically end as far as you can see.
It definitely does not need to go this far. You can sort of see, like, the ground looks different sometimes in the places where you can't go.
Yeah, Link's shadow won't get cast if there's no collision.
Yeah. We can just jump into the void if we want to. I don't necessarily want to do that forever, though, because we have so many other things we can do with Back in Time. But this is essentially... We have a lot of options with building routes in Skyward Sword, and we will be after this showing off the any % route, which is a bit of an adventure in terms of glitches. There's a lot of them. We'll be doing a lot of them. But I'm just gonna save there because otherwise things are gonna get weird. And jump in the void. We're gonna be dying into a lot of voids whenever possible because it's actually got a faster animation to it. So dying into a void, dying into lava, both of those are way faster than dramatically falling to your knees and dying. Not super helpful. But hooray, we've died. We can just go reset again.
Have another existential crisis.
We're putting Link through a lot today. We really are.
We are.
I feel a little bit bad, except I don't.
He'll survive. It'll be fine.
He somehow always has more lives. More than I do, at least. But yeah, so that is one option for us. That's called a bit warp. We can also do a reverse bit warp, which is exactly the opposite of a bit warp. Instead of saving what map our file was originally on, like this one was on Linearu Gorge, and it's saving the coordinates from the save statue, it's gonna take the map that we are trying to enter and just kind of place us there. We can mess around with the coordinates a bit as well through bit saving, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, hey Jim, what's your favorite loading zone in the Skyloft?
On Skyloft? The goddess statue's a pretty good one.
Alright, let's go to the goddess statue. Always spend a decent amount of time there. Which will also, I hope you really enjoy the music for the menu. It's one of my favorite songs. I listen to it all the time. I also have been voiding out there because there's actually a separation between two layers that we can't get through without opening this door. But for some reason, if you void out on the stairs, it just kind of assumes that you were supposed to be there. So,
Yeah. I mean, given how the game naturally progresses, that's a safe assumption.
yeah. So, in order to do a reverse bit warp, instead of messing with the save statue, we're gonna hit start and then just enter a loading zone. We are technically inside the goddess statue.
We are. We're just very far out of bounds. But see, the reason I chose this one is because this matches the blue theme you're going for today.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, can we even see Unbounds? Not really.
If you spam the plus button, you might be able to bring up the map.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
oh, we're not that far out of bounds. We're just over here.
I think he's like really low. So like the floor is like really high above us. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so where you see Link right now, those are the coordinates that Pippi saved at in the Lanayru Gorge.
Yep. Just wrong map. Very unfortunate map choices. But it's okay. We have a reset button so that Link doesn't try to die over and over again into a pit. Does bring up a nice point, though, that voiding out in this game does not deal you damage. It's very convenient.
Yeah, it's very weirdly convenient specifically for what we want to do when speedrunning this game.
I'm so unused to having the Master Sword that it charges so fast.
Oh, yeah. You don't get that during the 80% speedrun anymore.
Yeah, don't get used to seeing the Master Sword. By the way, I'm not going to encourage anybody at home to break their console. Definitely not. This is totally safe, and I have never broken a console doing this. That being said, I will definitely encourage you to try back in time at home. It is delightfully easy. The window to do it is super, super wide, and if you're using a Wii U, you can do it through the home menu. You can also do that on Wii. Or if you're on Wii, you can also just hit the handy little reset button, which we will be doing for the actual any percent run. It's not a tight opening, and then you can play on the title screen too, and also just occasionally crash your game. But crashing your game can be a lot of fun as long as you are okay with power cycling it.
True.
Everything's fine.
I guess the other thing to note is that if you do try back in time, there are a select few locations in the game where it does not work. So if you're having trouble with it and you're like, I heard the timing window was huge, well, just try, go back to like Skyloft or something and try it.
Yes. There's some odd restrictions, but if you just wander around and do it a bunch, yeah, you'll figure it out. And we will show you plenty of different locations that you can try it out in throughout the course of the run. Hey, Jim, you want to talk about bit saving? Let's do that. So we've seen bit warping, which is where we take the Skyloft coordinates to the file that we load. We've seen reverse bit warping, where we take the coordinates on our file onto the map that we load. Now with bit saving, we're simply going to save the game while back in time. And this is simply going to save our file back here onto Skyloft. So it's a handy little technique if, say, in a speedrun, we need to get back to Skyloft for some reason. Well, we can bit save, and then we get back to Skyloft. So now I assume you're going to start the file here? Yeah, so you can note that this did say Lanayru before. We looked at it multiple times. It said Lanayru. I swear it said Lanayru. And now it says Skyloft. But also, you'll notice that these texts get a little funky while we're still in English and can still see them. And they will get real funky later on. But now it thinks we're in Skyloft, but we're still trying to show our new harp to the old woman at the sealed grounds, which is not a thing it normally tells you to do when that's a different part of the plot. But that's okay. So if we hit start, we're going to spawn in right where we saved. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, the lighting is even the same.
Yes. So this introduces one of the things we have to worry about in Back in Time, which is called the layer of the map. It's essentially different versions of the same map. So one of them might have like the correct setup for one part of the game, and then after you do some story stuff, the map will change slightly to reflect the fact that you are farther in the story. Different things are active. You can do different stuff. And this is a layer of the map we should not be on. It's got a ridiculous number. It's like
It's 28.
28? I was gonna guess 26. I was so close. But yeah, the lighting is broken, which seems great. It's a very washed out pastel color palette. Other notable things is this door doesn't exist, which sometimes it does, which we'll make ample use of, but we can enter here. Oh, Vi has text for me. Thank you. I can go to the surface. Nice. Oh, Vi has more text for me.
Yeah, Fi was like, "Oh, you placed the ruby tablet. Here's your text. Oh, you placed the the amber tablet. Here's your text.
Here's some more text." But if I come back out, it's going to place us back on the layer that the file thinks that we should be on, or not.
Oh, I think the game is I believe the game is expecting a cutscene with Rhina to start right now, but Rhina doesn't exist right now, so...
It's fine. Everything's going exactly as planned. The plan was chaos, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I love when the plan is chaos. That's okay. All right, somebody start counting soft walks, right?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. As long as we've got an active count going. But... Sweet, now this is on Skyloft. I can reset my files so that we can use them again for other things. But okay, so now we have successfully found out what is a bit warp and a reverse bit warp, and some of the things we can do with bit saving. Bit saving also has another fun use, which is that it takes certain properties from our file and places them on to Skyloft, which can be pretty handy if you want to do things such as fly. We'd like to do that typically in the game about birds.
Yeah, that flying is a useful ability in the game that takes place in the sky.
Yeah. We often would like to fly. So if I just enter back in time again, start counting Link deaths or something.
I believe this is number 4.
I already lost count. Speedrunners can't count, right?
No, that's what the timer's for.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. But we can show off that. Double checking that. Yes, I know exactly what I'm doing. Totally. So normally if we jump off of one of these little wooden platforms, if we don't have the bird, I can do whatever I want. I'm eventually gonna fall into the void. I have no bird.
The bird is not here. But the good news is, we can make the bird appear.
You got a magical method for bird storage?
Why does that unironically sound like a trick name for this game?
Uh-oh, please interact with the statue, Link. So I am operating both menus at once, and a lot of speedrunning this game is honestly learning how to operate, sort of bifurcate your brain, so that if I use the motion controls to point at things, I'm only really pointing at the top menu. I can be sort of pointing at both if I'm really trying, but if I use the control stick, I am aggressively controlling both menus. So a lot of the time is going to be spent doing a little bit of finagling to make sure that things do what we want them to do. Oh, I don't think that layer could... I didn't realize that one would take me directly to the sky. All right, that's helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. Cool.
But we did see the bird. The bird was there.
We did have a bird. We just also crashed. It's fine. I can uncrash the video game. There we go. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. Totally didn't crash the video game. But we did have the bird, which, as I said, there are many opportunities to crash in Skyward Sword. Often, the crash is gonna happen if you are entering the sky. There's only very specific, as we said, there's different layers for things. There's only very specific layers for various rooms that can be loaded in back in time, and I believe for the sky, the answer is there's one.
There is one, yes.
Don't pick any of the others. There's only one. So we're often going to be careful to make sure that we are loading the correct layer, which means looking at a file that can, in fact, load that layer of the sky, that wants to load that layer of the sky when we enter the loading zone, because that's what it's going to use to pick what layer it's going to load. So yeah, you'll see that a decent amount during the actual run. All right, let's get to the fun part. Hey, Jim, you found this thing called RBM. What's that?
Yeah. So, RBM stands for Reverse Bit Magic. It's a very self-explanatory name. I'm sure that's all we need to say.
Definitely.
No, yeah. But yeah, so there's a trick in this game called Reverse Bit Magic, or RBM for short, right? And so, as we mentioned earlier, when you select a file, the game will load some of the data of that file into memory, and it will also load that data again. Oh yeah, there we go.
Look at that.
It's a cool memory viewer.
That's file 3. You can watch all the pretty numbers change when I click on the different files. Look at them go.
Yeah, wow.
Neat.
But yeah, so as we can see, whenever Pippi selects a different file, the game will load in different values at this very specific memory address. The one that she has pulled up here is the important one for Reverse Bit Magic. But so with Reverse Bit Magic, right? You don't have to like do this right now, but when you load a file and then click the start button, the game essentially redoes the action where it like puts all of the file's values into memory to like actually use during gameplay. But there's a small window after that happens where you can still move around as Link and like control things. So did you want to do an example with the house here?
Yes, we have a fun little example set up. So if I were to... I'm gonna crash the video game again. I hope you're ready for that. If I were to enter this house, it's a very nice house. For some reason, when we exit this house, it is going to remember that. So a flag in memory is just anything. Anything it wants to remember. You did a thing? Good. The game should probably be aware of that, just in case you want to go back and interact with that again. I don't know why the game thinks it's very important to remember that you left this house, but it does. And then it crashes because it can't load Skyleft right now. That's okay.
Yeah.
But it did want to make a change when we exited the house. And I have prepared for us a nice little visual reminder of that one. That's the one it changes. Don't worry about numbers. Numbers are scary. Look at the happy little rhino face. She'll tell us what changed, right? It's that one.
It's that one.
Believe me. But unfortunately, that even if we could start our file after that, if it hadn't crashed, it would not save that because it reverts all of our data to what it was previously. So let's just make the change after the revert, yeah? But this also brings up the fact that there are various banks of memory. So, okay, the screen's about to get covered in numbers. Please don't worry about the numbers. I swear the numbers do not matter for as much of this as we're going into. But so if we have these scene flags that we can mess with, these are the things that the game wants to remember right now. It's not going to have to remember things that are outside of the current scope of the game. So if I talk to somebody for the first time, that's not going to be relevant if I'm in Farron or Eldon or something like that. And if it is, it is going to save that elsewhere. Those are generally story flags and not scene flags. We don't have to worry about those. But scene flags are generally only used in the area they are used. If I save the remlet and bring it back and then leave the area and return, it's gonna want to know if I saved the remlet already. The remlet's the little cat thing, by the way. We'll worry about it later. But it's gonna want to know if I saved the remlet because it's gonna want to know where to put the remlet when I come back. But it's never gonna be, I walked into Lanayru, but did you save the remlet? I gotta know. Because that's just irrelevant. So it's gonna actually reuse some of those memory addresses. It's pointing to the same general location. So we have the active memory, and that is not. Why does it say it's Lanayru? It's not Lanayru. We're just gonna. It's not. It's Eldon. I don't know why it thinks it's in Lanayru. It's in Eldon. We're just gonna tapey tape some letters. There we go. Eldon. I swear it's Eldon. But so if we look at this file, it is in Eldon. And it is the file, like the information that it is looking at to load that should not be edited, generally speaking, by what I'm doing on the title screen. But we can. So why not, right? You want to go into it further?
Yeah, so basically, as Pippi mentioned earlier, like, it looks very scary with all the numbers, but the numbers themselves do not matter. The important thing to notice here is when the numbers and letters are changing, right? When you see that red flash that something has changed, that's the important thing to remember here, right? So what Pippi's going to do here is...
I can also show you what we're trying to do before we actually do it.
Oh, yeah.
Continue.
Yeah.
Our goal in this exercise is to dig in this hole.
Right, so yeah, when Pippi dug in that hole right there, you saw the red flash on the bottom set of memory addresses, and we got a change in a number. Now we got one.
I think it's trying to look at the wrong memory addresses on the Eldon one, which that's fun. Where are the correct ones? Don't worry, everything's fine. This memory viewer is very easy to use and user-friendly, I swear. Right? Definitely.
I mean, it's a lot better than Cheat Engine, I'll tell you that much.
All right.
For anybody who's used Cheat Engine.
It's not good. It's so rough.
Yeah.
There we go. That is 936. Apologies. We're gonna fix this. 936. There we go. It is correct.
All right.
I fixed it. But
we found the missing memory addresses.
Yes, as you can see, now the Eldon addresses match the active addresses because we're in Eldon. that makes sense, right? Those are what we're supposed to be looking at. And it changed the same number that was under that little happy rhino face when I picked up that key. Oh, look, a little key. Did art. But if we want to do that without digging, I don't know,
Yes.
maybe because we want to...
You know, sometimes you just miss the digging mitts. You know, it happens.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have the digging mitts. Sometimes you have no items at all. It's fine. Definitely not foreshadowing. Don't worry about it. But if we would like to do that without just digging in a hole, we can instead combine these two things.
Yeah, do you want to maybe show off, like, doing something on Skyloft right now?
Sure. What
Yeah,
shall
so
we
if-
do? What's your
do
favorite
you know
Skyloft flag?
Do you know the pushable box?
Is that the one by the Remlin? Or is there another
No.
one?
So if you, like, move around to the right side of the bazaar.
This way.
Yeah, this way.
Going
then
for an adventure.
Down on this ledge that's in front of you.
This one.
And then to the left.
Oh, to the left. This way?
Or is the other left.
The other left. Okay, this way?
Yeah, this way.
Neat.
There, we got the box.
There's a box!
Right,
Look, a box!
So this box, if you push this box all the way up against the ledge, it also has a scene flag. But watch what happens when it changes. Only the bottom address had a red flash and a value change.
Yes.
Right. So you're thinking like, oh, okay, well, if that bottom address changed, right? Does that mean that if I load into my Elden file, we now have that new value on our Elden file? Oh, no, it reset.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's unfortunate. So, okay, so we can load in our, our scene flags from a file in memory. Is there some way that we can keep a memory change or keep a scene flag change that we make onto the file as we load it? Now, the answer, of course, is yes. But
we
the
wouldn't
key
be asking
here,
the question if it wasn't yet. Or we would be, but y'all wouldn't have to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the key here is that, as we mentioned earlier, there's a very small, actually, it's not like, extremely precise, but there's like a second or so window where if we make a memory change to our scene flags, right as our file is, right after we press start on our file, any change made in that time period or in that window of time will stay onto our file, right? So Pippi's going to demonstrate with the door right here.
Let's watch it change that little happy rhino face, right? We're gonna hit start, walk over, and then open the door. And you saw the animation start of Link opening. Nice.
Yeah, we dug up the key piece.
Definitely
And yeah, you'll notice
legitimate.
that when we loaded into the map here, that value change got properly transferred up to the top addresses. Because the game believes that we really did trigger that specific event that correlates to that value.
Even though the hole in the ground is still sealed.
Well, yeah, that key piece is a different one.
Yeah. But huzzah, we have successfully done something on the title screen and made actual changes to our file. Now, if only it were always that easy.
If only, yeah.
So, hey, what's a commit and why should I know this word?
Right. So, so in this very specific example that Pippi showed us, you'll notice that the scene flag change that was made at the bottom or on the bottom addresses instantly got mirrored to the top when she loaded in. That normally is not like what happens when you do reverse bit magic. Normally you have to do something else, make another scene flag change on the map you load into to actually mirror that mirror that value back up to the top addresses. and have it like actually take effect.
And we can have a fun example of this. If it still wants to say it's Elven, but this is Linnea. This one's actually Linnea. We're gonna correct it. I can spell Linnea. I spelled that correctly, right? We'll go with it. So, let's watch things not be so simple, right? We would like to make a change in Linnea. Hopefully this should be the right file data. Yeah. So it's gonna zero out if we're looking at it at any of the other two files because these files have not been to Linnea. So, but this one definitely has. So some stuff's changed. So it's gonna have not zeros. Excellent. That is what I like to see. Unfortunately, also, we're going to try to make a change. I'm just gonna tell you what we're doing right now is that. That's what we're doing. We're trying to blow up a single rock. We have very achievable goals here. We could use bombs, but that sounds like cheating. I want to blow it up.
You also don't get them in the any % speedrun, so.
It's true. I want to blow it up with my mind. It's just a dream of mine. But unfortunately, we're not going to be setting that on Skyloft. Because apparently the developers of Skyward Sword could not be that nice to us, frustratingly. So I'm going to follow a very specific set of instructions that I left for myself on how to perform this very specific RBM on this file set. So the first thing we're gonna need is a bird. I have bit saved file 2. I have acquired a bird.
The bird has been acquired.
Yes. My next goal has been to get to the sky successfully. We have
we didn't crash this time.
Yeah, we didn't! We're making progress. We are in the sky. Huzzah. Our next instruction that the past me said was a good idea, and I believe her, I think, is to dive off my bird while looking at file 1, which I swear I did. I can look at it again. Look how pretty it is. So that when I enter this pillar, file 1 will be the file that it's looking at when it decides what room to load. But actually, what we're actually trying to do with this also is a little bit of shenanigans because we're trying to make it not crash. Essentially.
Yes.
Maps make things crash. So, looking at file 1 when we enter the pillar will not make a map open. Which is good, because that would make it crash. But it's not actually the room that we want to go to, so I'm just gonna let it think it's file 1 until about now. File 2 now. I made a decision. There was a cutscene or something. I don't. And now everything is weird. I don't know who's talking to me. Someone is. We won't be finding them. Don't worry about it.
I think that was the ghost of Groose.
Oh, the ghost of Groose is back. I believe our... Oh, every time I click on file 3, it's gonna do that. We're just gonna leave. We're gonna leave and we're gonna come back. So we are now over here. Cool, I don't like it over here. We're gonna re-enter this with file 3. Excellent. And now things are different because I had a different file open because before that was the file 2 map that had invisible grooves. This map has a Goron friend. And also, very importantly, this statue. Out of the way! Neat! He's shooing away the invisible things, don't worry about it. That should have made our change.
Yep.
But
So,
oh
yeah,
no! It only made the change to the bottom. Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah.
What should I do about it?
Personally, when I'm trying to make a rock explode, but my value does not go where I want it to go, I will simply bonk my head against a wall.
I mean, that does look like a wall. It's pretty tempting.
Yeah, that's a good wall.
Pretty tempting. That's the rock we want to explode, by the way. Look at it. Stare at it. Think about it real hard, and maybe it'll explode, and all of this will have been for naught. Oh,
Hey!
we also got $1!
Yeah.
That's a commit. We have succeeded blowing up the rock. This seems like a lot of work to do for some very simple rewards. However, I swear in the speedrun it's faster than playing the video game, right? Also, so he didn't feel left out, I gave the Goron a sticker too.
Oh.
Just for him. But I swear in the speedrun it's actually faster to do this. Alright, so that is gonna be the majority of the things that we're going to do in Back in Time throughout the run. We can do bit warps, where we're going to set our position on the current map. Reverse bit warps, where we're going to set the map with our current position. Yes, I said that correctly. We're good.
Yes.
It's very confusing very quickly. We're trying our best. We still don't have a master's degree in computer science. We have RBMs, or reverse bit magic, where we can set things on our file based on what we do in Back in Time. And outside of that, we have Don't Crash. We also have bit saving, which essentially, among other things, summons birds. Helpful skill. You want to talk about why reverse bit magic is reverse?
Oh yeah. So so the term reverse bit magic, right, must imply that there is non-reverse bit magic, or just bit magic. And so the reason we introduced reverse bit magic first is because reverse bit magic is a bit easier to understand. But regular bit magic was actually found a very long time ago, like over 10 years ago. Except it just wasn't very well understood at the time, so they were just like, no, this is just magic. It's just back in time magic. That's what we're calling it. Nowadays, we actually know why it works, but so
don't
reverse
believe him,
bit.
we're wizards.
Well, yes, yeah, we're bit wizards. So reverse bit magic was starting our file and then performing some action that changed a scene flag, which we can then, essentially carry over into a different area on our file. Regular bit magic is essentially loading in scene flag values from our file in Back in Time, right? So essentially, anytime Pippi selects a file, she's technically doing regular bit magic, right? Whenever any of the values on screen on the bottom addresses are changing, that is bit magic. But the reason that it doesn't seem like anything is really happening at the moment is because, like we just demonstrated with the rock exploding, we need to commit these values properly first before the game will actually interpret them onto the current map.
Now we see if the most obvious one works with these files. I'm not actually sure. You can't tell that these aren't the files we use for any percent. By the fact that they've done stuff.
Yeah.
This file has the harp. Neat. But okay. We have a file. We have a tree. It didn't make a sound. Make a sound, please, tree. And the tree made a sound. Let's see if that worked. Is that gonna work? No, it is not. Not on that file. Darn.
Yeah, it should be, I think, file 2?
Let's see.
File 2 has a bunch of stuff on it.
Bunch of invisible stuff. We have more trees. If I can tell how far I am from a tree. Let's see what happens when we bonk a tree with file 2. That one worked. See? Now that we bonked a tree, the gate is open. Remember this gate that I kept voiding out to try to avoid? It's mine now.
Huzzah!
Thanks, File 2. File
Oh,
1
now it's
said
closed
no, though.
again. Yeah, File 1 doesn't
File
like it.
2 is nice, though. We like File 2. File 2 is blue. Clearly my favorite color. But that's bit magic. We'll be seeing it a lot in the 90% run, just kind of skating by, and if anything looks like absolute wizardry, it's probably bit magic, unless we're not in back in time, in which case it's probably just wizardry.
Yeah, so if you ever think like, why did that gate open? Why did that log suddenly just teleport? Like, you know, why did Link's sword suddenly change? That's because of bit magic.
Yes. Alright, now that we've done our nonsense with these files, let's destroy them. How do you feel about destroying a bunch of files?
This sounds like a great idea, especially because we have backups.
We do. I can revert these files at any time. Important thing to note is that copying files in back in time is a little bit scary because do you see the plus button on this very convenient large demonstration of a Wiimote that is always on screen at all times? Thanks, Skyward Sword, for reminding me not only what game I'm playing at a drop of a hat, but also what the controller looks like. Thank you. I had forgotten. I closed the gate. But there is a plus sign there with a little scroll on it. If you press the plus button on your Wiimote for 2 frames or more, it's gonna open the map. We just established opening maps is bad. Don't open maps in back in time. That's gonna crash the game. But that doesn't mean that we can't do it as long as we press the plus button for a single frame or less. Won't do anything, it won't register. But the single frame, which is actually not that hard to do, thankfully. Otherwise this game would be a lot more difficult to run. But that's good because as you can see from this doubled up version, hitting plus on this menu also is gonna copy our files. So that is a 1 frame copy. Press it for 1 frame, and I can copy file 2 to either of the other files. I also have this nice, pretty delete button. Should I press it?
I like the delete button, yes. Thankfully, holding the delete button will not crash back in time.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want with the delete button. Bye!
Bye-bye.
Bye, file 2. You were neat. Hey, let's delete file 3 as well, but I have some thoughts about you, file 3.
Yeah, you're green.
Yeah. So, we can save our game in back in time. We can also delete our game in back in time. So, what if we did both?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Let's do exactly both of those things. So, I'm gonna hit minus, say delete, and also say save. Deleting complete. Saving game. Saved. Perfect. We have created sin.
Oh man, that's an old playthrough. January 1st of 2000? Wow.
Yeah, apparently I've owned this game for a long time. My playtime is 0, by the way. Never played it. Owned it for 23 years and never touched it. Yeah.
You have no equipment, you have a square for a file name, and you have 1 heart.
Little did people know that the correct way to spell Pippi is actually a single square character.
Oh,
It's not
I knew
available
it.
on most keyboards, which is why we use the English letters or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is called a corrupt file. Every value on it, except for some reason, Link's location and map have been set to 0.
Yep.
Including a very important one.
Yeah, so Link's respawn location is also just nothing, and the game doesn't really know how to react to that. So, if you continue here after immediately dying on a corrupt file because the health that you have is also just 0,
Yep, that's a value. We set it to 0.
The game's like, all right, well, no thanks, and it goes. Bzzz.
Yep. It didn't like that one. It actually gave me a different crash. That's very exciting. Invalid read. Nice. Please just reload the files. Oh. That's okay. That's fine. It died. Interesting. That one crashed worse than the others. That's okay though. We can bring it back. Oop. There we go. Oh, hold on. It's having an issue. Everything's fine. Skyward Sword, you can do this. I believe in you. I believe in you. There we go.
Hey, look, it's that Wiimote again.
Oh, nice. Yes, you can calibrate the Wiimote. All right. So it didn't like that very much. Maybe we shouldn't do that one again. But hey, we still have some fun files. No, corrupt files can actually be pretty useful because they're really good at doing one thing. That. Whenever we want it. Unfortunately, they don't really survive in the current any % route because we actually need to use all of our files. It might be a good time to bring up that we're supposed to have a poll. I don't know if it ran already yet. To pick the file name for the any % route. If you want to influence the text that'll be on my screen 3 times, you can. Neat. Do we have an update on when that happened or if that has happened?
It has
yet,
already run, and unfortunately, the one I wanted to win did not win.
Oh, what did you want to win?
I wanted a discourse over the pronunciation of a certain word. Because I'm here for chaos.
So what did win?
Uwu won.
Oh! Excellent. Wonderful. Cursed. I like it. But we will be using that 3 times. I hope you're excited for Uwu. And also Zelda for screaming Uwu. That's gonna happen. But because we actually use all of our files in the I% run at this moment, we don't have room for a corrupt file, but corrupt files are very good at hitting continue and then hitting reset. Because
when you hit reset, the game is like, oh, it replaces your current map with Skyloft, and Skyloft is not 0, so the game likes that.
Yeah. So I think our last preamble, because wow, remember we haven't actually done the run yet. We're supposed to be doing a speed run? This feels a little bit slow. But our last pit stop, I think, unless there's anything else you can think of, Jim, is file dupes.
Yes.
How do you feel about file dupes?
I feel like the game really likes File 3.
It really does.
For
I
some
like File
reason.
3 too. It's got a fun name. So easy to pronounce. Much like Spoombles.
Oh yeah, chat. How do you phonetically pronounce the name of File 3? I'd like to know.
Oh, how you phonetically pronounce square?
Yeah.
But yeah, so for some reason, if we look at File 2, bask in the glory of File 2, and the idea of Link, I actually don't know what it's gonna put as the suggested name if I do this with a corrupt file. I didn't think about that. Well, I picked File 3 to delete. Let's find out what happens.
Let's find out.
So if we go to the splash screen for some reason, and then click through, and hit save on whatever we're doing right now. What file are we on? I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. Nor does the video game. It's okay.
Yeah, the game does not sure either.
But We did a thing. The best way to describe it, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, the way that I would actually describe it is glorified copying.
Yeah. So we have essentially copied file 3 for some reason to file 2. And I'm going to attempt to click on and start file 2 and see what happens. I'm unsure of... Oh! Well, that's interesting. That's not the normal behavior. Well, we seem to have no name. Or our name might be New Adventure.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Normally, you'll see what it does in the 80% run, because this trick we do in the 80% run. But if we start it, it was file 3 the whole time. So unfortunate. File 2 has been eaten by file 3. Do you know why that happens? Because I'm a little foggy on that one.
Oh, yeah, so, whenever, so we showed how when you, like, select different files, the game loads in, like, the data from those files, right? So whenever you go off of the splash screen by pressing the A button, the game will actually load in the data from whichever is your lowest file that is not like just a new adventure prompt, basically, which in this case is file 3.
We can watch that happen if it's not all question marks. Give me one moment to make sure that's not all question marks. There we go. That's what you're supposed to look like. So remember, file 3 is all zeros, and now file 2 is all zeros too. But file 1 has stuff on it. But if we go back to the splash screen, we're still file 1. This is file 1. It doesn't look like file 1, but it's still file 1. But if I press A, we're back to nothing, because we're on file 3 secretly.
Sort of, yeah. So when you go off of the splash screen, you don't actually select a file. So the game just simply uses whatever the last selected file was, which in this case is file 1, right? So right now, the game believes that file 1 is selected, but has loaded file 3's data. And so if you save while in this, like, disjointed file state, you will save file 3's data over whichever file you last selected. So it essentially, like, as I said, it's sort of like a glorified copy of the file. But because we're back in time on the title screen, the game sometimes can't really... it doesn't properly update the file in a way. And so you can still select the copied file as if it's a new game file. If you specifically save, like, over a new game file. And that is important for the any% speedrun, because we want to be able to select our file-duped file copy as a new game file for specific purposes.
Well, file 3 slowly ate all the other files. Very
I can't believe file 3 would do this.
That's really rude, honestly. Don't eat your friends. I assume they're all friends. They like to hang out together. But
they are forever together.
Aww, awesome. But yeah, that is generally back in time. Made lots of sense, right? Yeah, I'm not missing anything.
More sense than it's ever made to me before.
I mean, Church, as a newcomer to Skyward Sword, do you have any questions? This is an interactive exam. Does chat have any questions, or are they still stuck on?
I think the word exam might have made some people scared.
My question is,
do
I get a degree for being here?
I think you're the TA.
Oh crap. I wasn't prepared.
Are
to
you
see it.
ready?
Everybody gets a degree. I'm not dealing with this. Everybody
Perfect.
passes.
Everyone passed the class. Now we don't have to worry anymore, and I never said the word exam. I meant lecture. Everything's fine. But do you have any questions on anything?
I actually think you did a very good job, both of you. I don't have any questions. Yeah, if anybody in chat has any questions, now is the time. I didn't really see any while we were going through. I might have missed some.
I do want to give a special shout out to the person who asked why after 1 hour we're still on the title screen, and to that I say, oh, just wait, we are just getting started.
Listen, we established before the run that I'm very forgetful, and if you don't continually shove in front of my eyeballs the title screen, I will forget what video game I run. Just a thought. In case you want to blame it on me. But unless there are any other questions, I think that probably is back in time. And if we wait on the screen for long enough, we get to see a trailer for Skyward Sword. What you're gonna see in the any percent run. You're definitely gonna see all of these things.
Everything in this.
I have fun fact. This cutscene, remember how the title screen is layer 28? This cutscene is layer 27.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Most of the layers are like 2, aren't they?
Yeah. It usually starts at 0 and goes up from there, but I guess they made some weird exception for the title screen in these cutscenes.
Ooh, Demise, we're definitely gonna fight that. We are gonna fight that. But yes, so that is back in time, and I think if there aren't any other questions, I think we're ready to do an any percent run. Y'all will definitely understand the whole thing. What was that?
I've got one question I see here, which is, does 3 corrupt save files create a stop block that will cause Link to just die regardless of what happens?
Well, it will cause a lot of crashing. We can delete the save files and start new files, and just have new files, and then actually play the game. It does not completely dead end you, but corrupting your save file does completely wipe all that data. Don't corrupt a save file that you actually wanted to use. Don't corrupt your childhood hundo% that you spent hundreds of hours on, unless you really, really wanted to burn the family memory book, because there's no going back from that one. It's essentially deleting it, but in a more fun and interactive way.
That's what we're all about.
Deleting save files for the whole family. Oh, a harp. So are we gonna see that in any percent?
I mean, I guess if you want, you could get it, but it's not necessary.
You know, I don't remember how to, so that's fine. We won't need it. But yeah, I'm aware we're supposed to take breaks on this show, which is not something I'm super used to. So do we want to do that before we run into the 90%?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. That way we can just go all the way through.
Yeah, we could give people a break from the title screen.
All right, everyone. Go get a drink of water, go stretch, and then it's back to class.
Everybody get your pencils and papers ready. We will be having a test. This will all be on the exam.
But you're all passing. Church said we passed.
This is true. This is true. I did say everybody was passing, so you do with that test what you will. But like Pippi said, during these longer shows, we like to take breaks every now and then, just so people can get up, stretch, get some water, anything they need to do. Just a real quick reminder before we go to the break. Your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bitch cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel do help support the Games Done Quick Hotfix. So if you like any of the content we put on, if you like these, glitch showcases, if you like, the awful or silly games showcased on Awfully Silly before, any of our other content, it really does help us put on this kind of content. So please do consider subscribing. With that said, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with a run of Skyward Sword. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is Out of Bounds. If you are just tuning in, you missed a wonderful lecture on A Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. There will be a test, but everybody's going to pass. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And now that we've finished with the lecture, we're going to move into a run. I'll hand it right back over to Pippi, and I'll let her take it away.
Wonderful. So, once again, I'm Pippi in a top hat. This is my top hat. Nice. But we have just gone through all of what is back in time, right? We all totally understand and took in all of that. So, with all of those things in mind, let's put it all together and use it to beat the game in, like an hour and a half? Something like that? Hour and a half if I'm slow. And Jim's still here too.
Yeah, hey. I'm still here to speak the words.
You didn't disappear.
I didn't disappear,
cool.
no.
Nice.
I was worried that might happen.
Just randomly quantum existence is kind of scary. We've dealt with a lot of existentialism today. So, as you can see, we have switched over to Japanese. Japanese is the fastest language for Skyward Sword because the text scrolls faster for some reason, and there's like less of it. English is really slow, and I didn't want to run in English. Sue me. But we also have switched to, if you'll notice, there's the little bird symbol on the background of these two files, but not this one. Those are hero mode files, which is essentially the New Game Plus category. New Game Plus setting for Skyward Sword. It means that those files have already beat the game and are going through it a second time. And we use 2 of those for a single any % run, because it does take all 3 files to beat the game once for some reason, because we do things in interesting ways around here. But those are going to come with a couple of benefits. And the first one is going to be skipping cutscenes. I like
this is actually necessary to get past some soft blocks. It's not just to skip the cutscene time.
It's not just because I don't like looking at Groose. However, Groose lost, so unfortunately we will not be seeing Groose.
Unfortunate.
We might see him. We'll see. We'll see if we're lucky. But so it's gonna have I believe it's 4 benefits. Skipping cutscenes. We take double damage. Which in a run where we die a lot is super helpful. We have an improved Skyward Strike attack. It's gonna do more damage and have more distance, and you'll watch us mess around with that quite a bit later. And also we can play mini games wherever we want. That'll definitely become important for the speed run. Now I believe oops, I didn't mean to hit back. I believe our name is Uwu.
Yep.
Wonderful. Oops, not Tuwu.
That's the sequel.
Yes.
If it was capital U's, I don't know if that makes a difference.
It's capital U's?
Capital
okay, I can give us some capital U's. I'm assuming still a lowercase W.
Yes.
Aw, it's so cute. Wonderful. All right. So with that, I think we are ready to start the any % run. Keep in mind all the things that we said about bit, because we're going to start using them immediately. Hey, Church, you want to count me in?
Yep. From 5 on go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go. It's time for Uwu's epic quest. So, Jim, you want to explain Skyloft?
Oh boy, yeah.
Small request.
Yeah. So yeah, Pippi's gonna skip, the intro cutscenes here, typical speedrun stuff. She's then going to leave Link's room and immediately talk to Fledge. She doesn't care about what Fledge actually has to say. She just wants the game to remember that she talked to Fledge, because the game does set a scene flag for talking to Fledge here. So now that we have our scene flag, we're done with Fledge, and he will not reappear for the rest of the game.
Bye, Fledge.
Bye, Fledge.
You're a good friend.
He really is, yeah.
He told us about a log later.
Oh, that's right. That's what his text is, right? I forgot. I hadn't read it in such a long time.
Yeah. As we said earlier, we will be using some of these flags in unintended ways. So we talked to Fledge, which is useless on Skyloft, but is useful in Farron.
Yeah.
Magic. Also, this guy's trying to tell me how to play the video game. Do I know how to play the video game?
I mean, it looks like it, yeah. You're moving around.
Nice. So
You selected the fast option, so yeah, I'm sure you know how to play the game.
Nice. Wonderful. Okay, so we're immediately gonna try to skip things, if I can. I like to call that final boss skip, because it's for some reason the final boss of my speedruns. I'm very inconsistent at it, but we got it. Huzzah. If you don't get that, he talks to you. We're, by the way, saving a remlet, because I'm a good person, right?
Yes. Not because we need the scene flag value, just because we're good people.
Totally altruistic reasons. Not selfishly motivated cat rescue at all. But look at it, it's so cute. I need to bring it home safe. But yes, this would not normally be required to just beat the game. But again, we need the scene flag, and as I said earlier, it's relevant on Skyloft only for if you save the remlet. It's relevant elsewhere for other things.
Indeed.
We like. Also, I'm saving the game for safety, because I'm definitely not going to die.
Absolutely not.
Oh, hey, look, a pole.
Oh, well. That pole has very strong gravity.
It really does. I don't understand that much about space, but I think this pole might be a planet. This is definitely the part of the thing where we talk about how bad I am at the video game, that I keep getting distracted by a pole, right? I think that's how you... That's the tradition for starting off a Skyward Sword any percent speedrun, is you have to talk about how bad you are. We're respecting the roots of the form. Oh no, I've died. Whatever am I going to do? I am actually playing this on a Wii, not a Wii U, which means I have a reset button, so I just pushed it. Welcome to Back in Time. All right. We have so many things we can do in Back in Time. What's the first on the agenda?
We are going to bit save, and that's it.
Nice. Excited.
Yeah. So if you remember earlier from our period 1 lecture, Pippi showed off a bit save and how when you bit save onto the Skyloft map, the entrance into the goddess statue is just open. So we're gonna make use of that right here. Or we're going to make use of it when we actually start the file, I guess I should say. But before we do that, we're going to save our file right there, and we're going to now go perform an instance of reverse bit magic.
Yes, our first one. So we're gonna first pick up the sword, but remember that anything we do in Back in Time that isn't done after we start a file, other than interacting with save statues, isn't gonna count. So it's just gonna get reverted. Picking up the sword is not going to give us the sword. This is a loaner. We got this from the local library.
Yeah.
And actually, if I were to click through the splash screen in any of these cutscenes that I'm skipping right now, I would lose that loaner. But
yeah.
Luckily, after I actually have it visually, it doesn't take it away from me. And I do like that, because we want to hit this pedestal.
Right, so this is normally the sequence of events that you do to place the Emerald Tablet and open up the Farron region in the game. And that's actually the very specific value that we want to RPM here is the value for the Farron Pillar being open. So this value actually gets set in the middle of this next cutscene. As the Farron Pillar is forming up, the value will get set. There's actually a nice camera cue here that Pippi will use. So the camera is going to change just about here, and then wait just about a second, start your file, and then the Farron Pillar is now on our first file. And if Pippi looks around right here, or looks back, if you want to show them the Farron Pillar right there. Yeah, we can see.
Farron
There's the
pillar.
Farron pillar.
Neat. Also of note is that sometimes in Back in Time we'll like hit start on files when we're going through like scene transitions. That doesn't actually start your file. That's kind of a frame saver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be quite obvious when we start our file because our file will start.
Yeah, and the title screen will go away.
Yes, and since I didn't actually pick up the sword before, I bid saved, so I have access to this room again, so I can pick up the actual sword. This one I get to keep, because I'm not on the title screen, I get a sword. Huzzah. I also do need to raise this pedestal, which I haven't placed anything on, so it should be empty, right?
You would think.
We're not gonna place the tablet again. Oh, hey, look.
Who put that there?
Wasn't me.
Yeah, so we want to put in the ruby and amber tablets later, so
Yes.
have to raise that up. So very specifically right now, Skyloft, I guess, a little bit unfortunately, is like one of the most conceptually complicated parts of the... Oh, nice slide there. Conceptually complicated parts of the run. Because we want to set up our file in a very specific way that will be beneficial to the later back in time stuff that's going to happen. And the first step of that is we want to open up the Farron pillar, which we just did with reverse bit magic. But we don't want to have anything else that normally happens after that, right? So we don't want to go through, like, you know, getting the hero's tunic or any of that stuff, because that's a little too far for what we want to have set up on this file.
Everyone say hi to Bruce.
Hello, Bruce.
Bye, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
Now we're gonna do one of my favorite parts of the run. Actually, this movement is some of my favorite part of the run. It just works out really cleanly. But also, judging Rhina's furniture.
Yes.
It's mandatory. I hope you're ready. We're gonna do it fast because this is speedrun.
All right, speed judge furniture.
Wow.
Let's see, we got the table, the bed, the dresser, and I give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Neat. Remember that exiting that specific house does set a scene flag. That is going to be a vine later. I would like the fruit, thank you.
Yeah.
So, judging furniture is mandatory in this speedrun.
Yeah, so just like with talking to Fledge and saving the remlets, exiting that house gives us a useful scene flag value, even though it's something you'd never actually have to do in the like casual game.
But we're gonna go save our Loftwing because apparently our Loftwing is in peril. Something like that.
Something like that.
We're watching a lot of the cutscenes out of order at the moment, so the order of events is gonna get a little bit messy.
Yeah.
But also, I would like to die soon, so I'm. Oh, hey.
Oh.
That was.
They
that was
tried to tag team you.
That was a sassy slime. But I'm gonna just damage down. And as I said, we are on hero mode, so 2 hearts is essentially 1 heart. So almost anything will kill me. By the way, my favorite text box in the game. Uwoo!
Ooh.
Thanks, Zelda. It just says whatever your name is, and that's it.
Yeah.
So Zelda's like hearing voices or something. I think she might be stressed. But we're actually gonna save and quit to the title screen. Our next instance of the title screen is actually going to be the title screen and not back in time.
This is
Wow.
rare.
Yeah. But of note, I'm just copying file 1 to file 3. So file 3, when I load into it next, will be here. Excuse me, here. Right here. Right before I save the Loftwing. And that is where I would like it to be. That'll become relevant. My Loftwing! Why isn't there a box? You want to talk about what's coming next?
Yeah, so we saw that Pippi copied file 1 to file 3. The next part of this setup is that we want to take a file that has not saved the Loftwing into the sky. All right. So it's like, okay, well, how do you do that if you've never saved your bird? How can you possibly get to the sky with no bird? And the answer, of course, is back in time, as it always is. But so specifically here, Pippi is progressing file 1 to a point where we can save the fact that we have the bird on file 1. And then when we're in back in time, we can use the bit saving technique to call our bird into back in time. And then after we perform some actions with our bird, we can load file 3 into the sky using the bird from file 1, right? That's what we will be doing at the next opportunity after Pippi goes through the Loftwing tutorial here and then attempts the legendary wing ceremony cutscene skip.
I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm not super consistent at this trick. There is a backup, so it's okay if we don't get it. I'm gonna try my best, though. This is a 2-frame trick in a game that runs at 30 frames per second, so that is a 15th of a second. I'm trying to press the button a lot of times. Oh, but I hit 2 times!
Oh, the classic.
So I was trying to side hop out of a cutscene, and I accidentally side hopped back into a cutscene. Excellent.
That's okay. The backup is funny.
We're gonna play Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
The backup to if you fail the Legend of Zelda trick is playing Donkey Kong. So I'm just gonna load into file 3. And what we were trying to do there is side hop out of a cutscene. Unfortunate. But the goal of side hopping out of a cutscene was actually to jump off a cliff and, big surprise, die. Wanted to activate back in time. But the fastest way to die, if that is not an option, is to have friendly conversations with our friend the barrel. Fun fact, if you bonk that barrel there, it gets stuck in the floor. Neat.
Barrel death.
I'm really good at Donkey Kong. Should probably speedrun that instead. But there we go. Now we have activated back in time.
All right, and we have one file which has saved the Loftwing, file 1, and one file which has not saved the Loftwing, file 3. So to make things even more confusing, we're now going to select file 2.
File 2 thinks our name should be T. File 2 has not been told that our name is Lulu yet. It will. No, don't worry about it.
It'll know. So right here, Pippi's going to do the file dupe technique to dupe the information from file 3 onto file 2, and then bit save file 1 so that we can get our Loftwing. So now file 3's information is on file 2, but the game still shows that file 2 is a new game file, right? It doesn't have any of the information visually from file 3 on it. So the information is there, right? So if you load in file 2 right now, it will be a new game file. So what we're going to actually do to it is we're going to load it in as we load into the sky right here, which will put file 2 into the sky instead of loading it like in Link's room, as you would normally expect, right? So now we're in the sky on file 2, which does not actually have a Loftwing that was saved, right? Because we duped it over from file 3, which didn't have the Loftwing saved. And this is important because this specific phi trigger right here gives you the ability to dive off of your Loftwing. And the final sort of file setup that we want here is we want to get the ability to dive off of our Loftwing before saving our Loftwing, which is why we're doing this.
I'm trying to just die, so I go back to the most recent place where oh, that was kind of nice. That bird's name is Guava. That's what I say. His name is Guava.
Guava the Guay.
Definitely not because I forget how to pronounce that bird species name a lot. His name is Guava. But, oh cool, because this was the data from file 3. We loaded in back over here. And file 3 was about to rescue our Loftwing, so, oh my god, my Loftwing!
Oh my goodness.
Never would have seen that come. Oh, thanks, Link. Link likes to get distracted by those barrels a lot.
Yeah. Link is like, ooh, barrel.
But since we have watched that Fi cutscene, and we now have a bird, we can call our bird, and we're gonna enter into the tutorial where, Zelda taught me how to flap bird wing, go flap flap, yes.
Yes.
With motion control, yes. Look at me, I know how to flap. I'm going to count to 11 now, for no specific reason.
Yeah, so when you do the lofting tutorial here, you're not supposed to be able to jump off your bird, right? And the game even prevents you from really going anywhere because it puts up these barriers that the loft wing can't get past. But Link is not the loft wing, so Link can get past those barriers. And so Pippi over here is going to fly over to the Farron pillar, but before that is going to go splat.
Splatting is very important.
Yes, the splatting is very important. It saves a lot of time, actually. And now with the Farron pillar open, can just enter the Farron pillar. And so now we have a file which has the ability to dive off of the loft wing, has the loft wing, also has the Farron pillar open, but has not advanced to the wing ceremony. Because this is the very specific state of the sky that we want. Because this is the only state of the sky that will not crash back in time.
You'll note that for the rest of the run, every time I enter the sky, I'm going to switch it to file 2 in back in time. Alright, I want to call quick attention to this location. We'll be seeing it a lot. It's got like a spiral thing going on. It's neat. There's a little area down there. This is definitely not foreshadowing. Alright, I entered a new area. So, best practices when you're playing video games. When you enter a new area, you should save your game. You know, just in case.
Just in case you accidentally die.
You die, yeah. In case of emergencies. Oh no! Alright.
Oh no!
So, we went from probably the most complicated bit interaction in the run to probably the second most complicated one, so I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, this is the longest one. So first, Pippi's gonna copy file 3 to file 1. File 1 we don't need anymore, so bye-bye. And then she's gonna do a frame-perfect copy of file 2 to file 3, because we want to sort of lay out our files in this specific way here, just because it's most convenient for the run. And then she performed a bit magic with file 3 up, which is now also file 1, so they kind of do the same thing when you select them now, to open up the gates at the top. And then she bit saved file 3, so now file 3's coordinates are set here on Skyward, specifically at that bird statue. And now because we saved at a statue with the file that has the bird, we can call the bird, and we're going to fly over to the one loading zone we can actually trigger at this point, which is just over here by the windmill. Because by default, all the loading zones are off until you have the tunic, except for that one. And now we're going to take back in time using this layer of the sky that does not crash. And we're going to bring back in time into Farron Woods for what we will be doing next. Also, this skydiving portion right here in Back in Time is, like, unironically very difficult to do correctly. This is the point where, like, a lot of runners will just lose time because it is, like, basically impossible to tell if you are skydiving straight unless you have a visual of the pillar in front of you. And you could be selecting the files in a certain order to not crash when entering Farron. And here we are. Also, remember how we talked to Fledge, like, 15 minutes ago? He's gonna raise up the log here for us when Pippi selects file 1 here.
Yep.
Or take the log down, excuse me. So, thank you very much, Fledge.
Fledge's utility has been appreciated.
Also, yes, this will be on the test. Thank you for reminding me, chat.
Alright, I'm gonna try a trick that saves next to no time, and I'm very bad at, because it's fun.
This is a fun trick.
Oh, and good job. I'm trying to jump. That's an interesting failure. Blink. Give it one more try.
You got this.
Just because I want to show off the fun trick. Even though I'm bad at it. There we go. There we go. That's
All
log
right.
jump. It definitely lost time there.
It's okay. Time's not the important thing here.
Yeah, but it's fun. So.
Yeah. There's a small cutscene that plays when you actually push the log up against the ledge. The game's like, hey, did you know you pushed the log up against this ledge? I bet you didn't know that. But yeah, so if you do that jump there, it skips the cutscene.
Do you want to talk about File 1?
Oh yeah, so after this specific back in time instance, we're going to be playing the run for a little while on File 3. We're going to save File 1 here for later keeping, just because we're going to need it later, but we don't need it quite right now. Pippi also does not want to select File 1 until she gets close to this Octorok, so that she prevents a long drawn-out cutscene from playing that does not help us.
It is quite funny, though, so...
Yeah, that's true. It is funny.
You'll want to see something interesting? We will only do it once. You do it twice, you soft lock. I don't want to do all this again. Until next one. But for some reason, on File 1, my flags say that I should watch this very long cutscene of a door opening. But it'll only happen if I'm facing in certain directions. So I think if I face in this direction, everything's fine.
It's fine.
If I face in this direction, things are still fine. Where is the direction?
Oh yeah, so you need to turn around and then target to bring the camera around to look at the door. Yeah.
There's the door.
Isn't this door so cool?
We found a door. I'm gonna get off of File 1.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay there. Staying there is dangerous. All right, let's turn the camera back around. But I died there to cause a map reload because, hey, remember when we judged Rhina's furniture? That put this vine down, but without reloading the map, it didn't actually put the vine down, so we had to do that real quick.
Yeah. And now, Pippi's gonna teleport all the way across this map to Skyview Temple after she skips this cutscene. And oh man, Skyview Temple just opened up on its own. That's weird.
Yeah, it's a little wacky.
And now, with File 3 selected, which was last bit saved on Skyloft, she's going to start File 3 and then skip the intro cutscene to Skyview Temple, which will trigger a reverse bit warp and spawn her deep into Skyview with those Skyloft coordinates that were saved about 2 minutes ago.
I hope everyone followed that.
Yeah, so that is the longest and one of the more complicated back-in-time sequences in the run. But the end goal, of course, is just get to Skyview Temple as fast as possible, pretty much.
Unfortunately, that version of Skyview Temple actually has a lot of things unloaded. Ooh, watermelon glitch. That's a fun glitch. It's gone now. But, so I have to exit the room and re-enter for it to load a bunch of things, like enemies, and a very important type that we're going to see. I don't care about it. We're going to see very shortly. Oh, he lost interest. Oh, don't do a diag.
Oh yeah, so this spider is very scary. If you die to this spider in the run, you have to do that entire back-in-time sequence all over again.
Good job, me. I'm just demonstrating it.
Yeah, so this is what you don't want to do.
Yeah, luckily since we don't super want to do that again. I'm trying to remember what I made my file name on my safety saves. So I don't remember what I saved.
Yeah, we might lose Uwu here, unfortunately.
We might. I don't know what I set it to. But I'm sorry about that. We can fix it though. I usually have a tendency to jump too late, so I jump too early. I will not. No, I have to erase it. I can't check first. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that spider has ended many runners' runs and forced them to reset and talk to Fledge again.
Yeah. Hopefully we will not lose Uwu. I will give some spoilers for. We also have in store a miscellaneous glitch exhibition at the end of this, and some of those files are also Uwu. So, and we did get to see Zelda say it quite loud. We're gonna put down my Wiimote to calibrate it properly. This is very important.
I think actually the fastest strat is to wiggle it a bit so it goes almost all the way around. And then just moves the last little bit because it does that really slowly. for the optimal task strat that I'm sure everybody cares about.
No, I just made it a period. Oh. Boring. This is what I usually set my name to on runs. But oh wow, we've teleported across the tightrope.
Oh wow.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Nothing went wrong at all. And this is why you keep safety saves. Alright, let's do the rest of the temple.
Yeah, the little bit we actually get to do because we skipped like 80% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully the Skyward Strike comes in handy here because we do not have the Slingshot or the Beetle. We'll not be getting them. With a well-timed Jump Slash and Skyward Strike, we can hit the second vine there to bring it all the way down.
That hit! I didn't think that hit. Yeah, so there's a quirk in how the items...
That's a new one.
Interesting. I touched safe ground though, so... Neat! Can I say that's never happened before?
Yeah, as far as I know, I've never seen that.
And then I jumped into the void. But
That's not the right show title.
Oh no! We already went out of bounds though. These ropes are awful, in case anybody was curious. They're programmed interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The original Wind Waker's ropes were fine, and then ropes just got worse from then on out, as far as speedrunning is concerned, with the ropes.
Hey, do you want to do G1? So, or talk about G1? You want to play G1? You want to talk about G1 so I can play G1?
Yeah. Girahim 1 is a bit complicated. Most bosses' health is a bit complicated in this game. The first phase is pretty simple. You just, surprise him with an attack from the other direction that he doesn't have his hand at. You do have to wait a little bit before you cannot do it, otherwise he will catch your sword. So just do this 4 times.
He's being real saucy.
It really is.
I have a personal vendetta against Girahim. He stole my haircut.
True. Yeah,
Where
I can
had it
understand.
first.
Alright, so for this next phase, so when you attack Girahim like this, the later attacks that you do in a combo actually get a damage multiplier applied to them. So what Pippi wants to do is begin by doing a single, regular slash, and then follow it up with quick spins, because quick spins do more damage, and we want the damage multiplier to apply to the quick spins instead, right? So this will, if done well, will cut off a cycle of the fight and turn it from, I believe, an 8-cycle fight into a 7-cycle.
Really? Interesting. Thank you, Girahim. Girahim just wanted us to do that again. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, you also always go into this fight with 2 hearts, so it is precarious to not get hit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, 1 hit from anything will kill you. Alright, but this gives me the opportunity for him to not be sassy, right?
Yeah.
Rematch.
Actually, I don't know if we can ever make him not be sassy, I don't know. But we can try.
Can I outsass Girahim? We'll find out. But yeah, he has some RNG to what attack he picks. And for some reason, that one, he wants you to attack from certain directions, otherwise he just deals free damage. And that's bad.
Yeah, ideally, Girahim will spawn the least amount of darts as possible. Because darts, whenever he spawns darts, it's basically just a waste of time because you have to hit them away. You don't want to reflect the dart attack because that's just really slow and basically does no damage, so... It's faster to just hit them out of the way and trigger a different attack, like a charge.
There we go. That's what's supposed to happen. And then I reclaim my haircut for the good of all. I don't know.
For the good of the top hat.
Yeah. That's what this is all about. Oh, cool. As a prize, we got a heart container. What a neat prize.
Too bad it's useless.
Yeah.
In the speedrun.
Reminder that we're on file 3, and I'm actually going to finish this on file 1. So even if I wanted extra health for, like, the final gauntlet, that wouldn't do it. It would give extra health to file 3. And we can transfer quite a bit of things between files, but we can't transfer max health total. Nor do we actually want to, because that would waste time. So, but we're going to, huzzah, finish our first dungeon. Our first of many. How many is many?
2.
That's a lot of dungeons. But huzzah, we have hit the little sigil. What is
the goddess crest.
Yeah, crest. There we go.
Yeah.
And it has given us the ruby tablet, which we would like to go put in Skyloft. Now we could take our bird to Skyloft. That would be a method of getting there, but there's faster methods that involve warping. And how do we warp again? We went over this, right? All right, everyone, here's the question for the test. How do you warp? If you said die, that's correct. That's step 1.
Yeah, is it A, die, B, talk to Fledge, C, rescue the remlet, or D, all of the above?
It's always all of the above. Well, one of them's got to be right. But yeah, so we are predictably entering back in time again, so that we can warp into the goddess statue. We're gonna do it not into funny coordinates this time. Ideally, we would not like to enter the blue. I forgot to bonk the thing. What am I doing?
I can just void out or go back, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bonk the free. It's
We'll
fine.
bonk it. We like bonking.
Free box. Get your box here. I just wanted to look at $5. I didn't want to obtain $5.
Not yet. We will later, though.
Later. With a different file.
Yeah.
Now the gates are open. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so when Pippi showed off reverse bit warping earlier, we mentioned that reverse bit warping will take the coordinates of the file that you start and apply them to whichever loading zone you run into here, basically. However, if you save at a save prompt, you don't really have coordinates that you're saved at. So if you reverse bit warp with a file that's saved at a save prompt, you just kind of enter the next area normally. Without any coordinate trickery.
Also, since we did a reverse bit warp there, we entered the goddess statue just on file 3. Normally, which is the file that has the tablet, conveniently. So we just placed the tablet, and the tablet is now placed on file 3. File 3 has access to Eldin. Also, this is a very lovely cutscene.
Yeah, this is one of those cutscenes that if you can't skip, you soft lock, because the layer of the map is not correct, so the cutscene information is not really there. The camera is pointing at, or the camera is currently facing angle 0, and is at the origin of the map.
We love it when things default to 0.
Yeah.
But yep, thankfully I can press that 2 button, and that'll fix it. Now I could get on my bird and fly to Eldin.
But what if instead we got on our bird and flied to Farron first?
That sounds more fun! Farron sounds less hot, let's be real.
Yeah, that's true. As someone who lives in a desert, yeah, I prefer Farron.
But we will be warping into Eldin, quite predictably, but we're going to do it in a little bit of a special way, because we don't actually want to just warp into the beginning of Eldin. That would waste time. So we're going to do more back-in-time trickery. Why not? And the first thing I'm going to need is a bird. That is how you acquire a bird.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing, spoiler alert, another reverse bit warp to get into Eldin. But we also would like our coordinates to be something very specific. Also, selecting file 2 before entering the sky, so it doesn't crash. Exciting. So, as it turns out, none of the save statues on Skyloft have the coordinates we're looking for. But one of them on Farron does. So it's, I swear, faster to just go to Farron.
It is, yeah.
If my motion controls would tell me where I'm going. There's the clouds. Skydiving is lots of fun. It's my favorite activity. And once again, we enter the pillar with file 1 so that it doesn't crash by looking at the map. And then I'm gonna click on file 2 so it takes me to the correct layer of the map. The correct version of it that I would like to be at. Also, everybody say thank you to Fledge.
Thank you, Fledge. Thank you for being a convenient scene flag that we can actually get and not something impossible. Otherwise, this wouldn't work.
A very long and specific thank you.
I mean, how much more convenient can you get than just, oh, we can talk to you 15 seconds into the run?
All right, so I have bit saved file 3, which is going to set my coordinates for the next time I use file 3 to this location. And I'm using file 2 to go to the sky again. Because, say it with me now, file 2 doesn't crash. Thankfully. And now I'm gonna flap a bunch.
Up we go. Okay, so next, Pippi is going to be diving off the bird again and then jumping into this zipper. There's a little speed boost trick we can do here to get to where the Eldin pillar is faster. You can't see the Eldin pillar, but trust us, it's there.
I think it's there.
It is there, yes.
I don't have a ton of confidence, but I'm pretty sure it's there. Oh
And
no,
now
my
she
bird
has
got
to-
stuck.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
no, my
she-
bird got stuck. Oh no, my bird got stuck.
It's okay.
Sweet.
Each time this happens, you just get faster and faster.
You also get harder and harder to control. So I found the Eldin pillar just very quickly. And I hit start on my file at a certain part of the clouds forming up, which is the cue for being here.
Yep.
We're
And now
once again on actual collision out of bounds.
Out of bounds, on actual collision, on out of bounds.
We said the actual correct show this time.
I know.
I'm so proud.
But yeah, so you guys may have heard of this video game called The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where you can just kind of climb up anything you want. This part of Skyward Sword, Out of Bounds, is kind of just like that. We're just gonna climb up the volcano. Not where it normally expects us to climb up, but it's not gonna stop us, so we can
Yeah.
just free climb it, basically. and do some weird mechanical things that boost our speed weirdly.
Also, don't question that weird step up I did. That is... The collision out here is real weird. It's some really weird terrain.
Yeah, the game doesn't really ever expect you to be running up terrain that's this steep, because normally terrain this steep has like a special property that makes it like slippery. You slide down it, but that does not apply here.
Oh, Link did a little hop. So, huzzah! I made it to a new area. I love Elden. I'm gonna save my game, because that is best practice when you are playing video games. You know, in case you die.
Especially if you die really quickly in lava to save a few seconds.
Yeah. As we said way long ago, dying into lava or into voids is a much faster animation than Link dramatically falling to his knees and doing like the whatever. So we prefer that quite a bit. We're gonna go do more bit magic. Wow, what a surprise.
Wowee.
But we're trying to get inside the Earth Temple right now. And the game expects us to have the digging mitts and to dig up 5 pieces of a key, which sounds both slow and impossible because we don't have the digging mitts. And remember why I said we can't have items? So instead we're gonna take a nap. That'll fix it.
Nap time, everyone.
Get your favorite blanket. Importantly, we have to exit that house with file 1 or file 2, because file 3 will crash.
Yep. Alright. Now here's where the actual magic happens. So Pippi started file 3, and then pushes the gravestone, and the game's like, ah yes, that's the key to entering the Earth Temple. And so it starts the cutscene where Link enters the Earth Temple. And now here we are.
I turned the camera around immediately to try to make a platform cycle up here. My camera likes to turn back around, so well, we'll try it. Hey, we made it. Alright. Now there's a bunch of stuff. What am I doing?
I believe now you're going to do the easy yeet trick.
Oh, exciting! My favorite trick! This is
so
Archibald.
So right now, Pippi's doing some enemy manipulation with this keys. So there's this rope that's kind of like high up in the air, and we don't really have any items to be able to hit that rope. So instead, what if we just use the Skyward Strike? Now, unfortunately, you cannot angle the Skyward Strike like up or down normally, but you can if you have an enemy that you can target. So Pippi expertly manipulated the keys right there to line up with the rope so she could shoot the Skyward Strike up at the rope and cut it down. And that's very important because the only other alternative for getting past this drawbridge is to do a really slow back-in-time sequence.
Alright, cool. Did not get owned by a Lizalfos immediately afterwards. I love getting that trick and looking real cool and then immediately getting hit with a Lizalfos tail to the face and then dying. It's really funny and kills runs. But huzzah. Okay, next up is a long ball rolling puzzle that requires bombs. Bombs sound like an item and we don't have those. So, this is a part of the run I like to call Don't Press A. And,
yes.
Chat, if you would like to play along with me at home, if you press A, you will end the run. Don't press A.
I think this is giving chat too much power.
Don't end my run, okay, chat? I'm believing in you. Don't do it. But the reminder that I said a while ago that we can open the Wii Motion Plus tutorial prompt, and it will give me 1 free A press. So I can still do things like Sci-Pop and run. You know, things that require the A button, traditionally.
Oh, yeah, everyone's just pressing A.
Oh, chat, I believed in you.
It's so tempting.
Okay, now you can press A.
Yeah. So basically, we didn't want to press A because pressing A would have loaded File 3's information, and we actually want to get into the building here without loading any information at all. So that we load it into a specific state so that Pippet is here and we can perform reverse bit magic with his text.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yes, we have talked to Pippet, and Pippet has raised the bridge.
As we
Doesn't
can
the bridge
see,
look raised to you?
that's a very raised bridge to me.
I also lit my butt on fire. Oh no.
It's okay, that was optimal.
Yes. We needed to reload the map because Pippet did actually raise the bridge. Thanks, Pippet. I feel a deep affinity for Pippet. But huzzah, we have gotten past yet another thing that would have required us to have items. And now we have more of those. So the rest of the dungeon is pretty much these the lope puzzles, where it wants us to stop at those little alcoves, but this alcove is blocked by rocks that you need to blow up with bombs. That thing we don't have. So instead we're gonna try screaming.
Excellent screaming. Nice job.
When in doubt, scream at the problem. Alright, I'm gonna actually... This is a real safety save. Just in case. Scaldera is rude. But we're gonna go fight Scaldera. What I was doing there was something called stutter sprinting. I was essentially rhythmically pressing the A button a bunch to start and stop Link sprinting, which is going to give me an artificially extended stamina amount. Okay, look, a key. I'm sure that didn't trigger a trap at all. Oh no. But it's gonna, at the cost of some speed, it's gonna let us have more stamina. So we don't do that all the time, obviously, but for that one instance, screaming was helpful. It is not always optimal to scream at your problems.
Though it can help de-stress the situation.
Alright, let's fight our second boss of the run. After I put in the letter D.
You know, I realized this a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
This game was made in 2011, but if you take the, if you look at the first two boss keys and place them together, they make the term HD. Almost like they were hinting at Skyward Sword HD. They knew. This was definitely a conspiracy theory.
Alright, so we're gonna watch some fun cutscenes. I'd like to call attention to something I've been doing for most of the run whenever I remember to, which is pressing the C button right before I enter into cutscenes. On some cutscenes, it breaks the camera movement. That would happen after the cutscene. So instead of refocusing the camera all cinematically on Link, it just cuts straight to Link, which saves a little bit of time. And most times saves like, I don't know, how much?
Like a half a second?
Yeah, most.
Yeah.
That one saves a lot more. It's a really slow camera pan.
Yeah.
That specific one saves a decent amount of time. Also, Girahim's yelling at me, but he doesn't realize I don't speak Japanese. I don't know what he's saying. I'm sorry. Did I upset you? Alright, welcome to Scaldera. Hey, you want to talk about Scaldera while I do Scaldera?
Yeah, so obviously we don't have bombs, so we cannot use bombs that we do not have on Scaldera, but the game does generously provide these bomb flowers for us at the very top of the arena. So we can actually just use the bomb flowers at the top of the arena to damage Scaldera and make him eat a bomb flower so that we can then get some hits in with our sword. So Pippi's going to be doing very specific damage on these cycles here. Thankfully, Scaldera did give some good RNG right there. And did not climb back up too fast. Because the goal here is to defeat Scaldera in 3 cycles. With the amount of damage she does here, Scaldera is going to begin going into his rage phase, where he stands up really tall, and then runs up the entire arena and rolls back down. But importantly, the damage vulnerability timer that the eye normally has did not get reset last round, or last cycle, so Pippi can actually damage Scaldera and stun Scaldera with just the Skyward Strike now. And then with 2 more spin attacks, Scaldera can just die. And as we like to say, the spicy meatball has been defeated.
That's a spicy meatball. Yep. So you can sort of adapt to if he's meaner than that, but he was pretty nice there. Pretty kind friend.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
wasn't too bad.
He's gonna give us a heart container. Is it rude to reject a gift?
I mean, I don't know if the thing that gave us the gift just tried to kill us.
But yes, once again, we are on file 3. So, again, I could pick that up. It would be a waste of time. But once again, we have... Oh, where is up? Our lovely Goddess Crest room. And we're going to hit the Goddess Crest and receive the Amber Tablet. Now, the entire point of this run, up until now, has been to get to Lanayru. We just want to get to Lanayru. Like, really want to get to Lanayru. And unfortunately, Lanayru just has to be the 3rd area, so we have to go through Farron and Eldin first. But now that we have the Amber Tablet, we can get to Lanayru. We can go back and put the Amber Tablet into its pedestal by flying there on our bird, if we want to be slow. But there's a faster way. Have you figured out what it is? We do it a lot. But you'll remember me saying at the beginning that Hero mode lets us play certain mini games we wouldn't otherwise be able to play, and that's actually important. That wasn't a joke. I swear it wasn't. I'm telling the truth. So in Lanayru, there is an area called Lanayru Gorge, and in it, there is the Thunder Dragon, who has the Boss Rush minigame. By the way, we have to transfer our progress from File 3 to File 1, right? And luckily, we can just transfer our inventory by picking up $5 with File 3. We now have the Amber Tablet on back in time, quite conveniently. So we're going to do the exact same thing that we did at the beginning and RBM the Amber Tablet onto File 1, even though we do not have it on File 1.
Yep.
But yeah, so we want to get to the Boss Rush minigame because it's fun and we like minigames, right? Yeah. Yes. And also we're gonna break it horribly. Also, the tablet we placed didn't exist there. I don't know if you could see past the file screen. The game's doing its best. It's really trying.
Yeah, so just like with the Farron pillar, there's the same timing here with the change in the camera angle. And if you remember, like half an hour ago, we saved File 1 in Farron Woods for safekeeping, so now we can use it again. And this is actually important because we don't want File 1 to be on Skyloft, because File 1, I don't believe can call the bird, if I remember correctly. So the only way to like actually get the loft wing is to exit out of a pillar and have it automatically come up so that we can fly to Lanayru.
Fi wants to tell us, I believe that's telling us about the Farron Woods pillar? I think.
Yes.
She doesn't realize that we just came from there. We do know how to get there. But, hey, look at the big, shiny, golden Lanayru pillar. That's where we're gonna go. We're gonna go straight to the next area. Because we've already made our pit stop at Skyloft, we just did it on the title screen. Oh, I bonked a cloud. Good job. So now that we are in Lanayru, we have to get to Lanayru Gorge, because we're not supposed to be able to get there yet. We're also not supposed to be able to have access to the boss rush minigame at all. So step one is gonna be, we entered a new area. Just to be safe. There's no way to die on frame right now. I'm going to save my game. Because I really have to be looking for a way to die.
And thankfully, Lanayru just happens to provide some bomb flowers.
It's really nice of it, actually. I didn't have to look that hard.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do, so far we've done a lot of reverse bit warping and a lot of reverse bit magicking. Remember regular bit warps?
Those are a thing that exist, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about them a while ago. That thing where we can use the coordinates from Skyloft and apply them to the wrong map. We no longer can just bonk the tree to open the gate, unfortunately, so we have to go back to voiding out. Great times. Great times
part of the file setup includes, for the rest of the run, includes not being able to open up those gates. Unfortunately, it's just like one of the time costs of this current route. But it is faster, even if at the cost of having to do that.
So we are now quite far out of bounds in Lanayru. Very exciting. And we want to get to an area where we can get through to Lanayru Gorge. Hey, we've gotten this far in the run without talking about stamina management. So a very, very universally loved feature of Skyward Sword upon release was this little stamina lime. And we have been actively managing it the entire run. So when you are trying to move, you can run to use up stamina, or you can roll to get some extra speed and use up even more stamina. But ideally, actually, the final quarter of the stamina wheel regenerates at the same rate as the rest, but depletes at half the rate. So we kind of just want to be repeatedly using that over and over again. And while rolling looks so much faster, it's actually not that much faster. It's like you save a frame per optimal roll or something like that. It's kind of comically small. So we only really roll when we have extra stamina to burn.
Or in like special cases where, like, we roll into that crawl space there because then that skips a little bit of the crawl space.
Yeah. And oh wow, we've arrived at Lanayru Gorge. And this is sort of a new area, right? Hey, we've been here before.
Yeah, this is where the lecture happened.
Yeah. And this is where I killed myself with a cactus repeatedly. Why would I do that? That cactus is my best friend. So unsurprisingly, we're gonna do some more bit magic. Or reverse bit magic, rather. So our itinerary for the rest of the run is that we need to save the Thunder Dragon, which requires moving a minecart, which requires spawning the minecart, and also requires a rock in the way of the minecart to not be there. So step one is gonna be, let's blow up the rock. We need to do all of those things, and all of them have to be done through some level of bit magic weirdness. And most of it's gonna be done in Theron. So I hope you enjoy skydiving, because I know I do. It's very fun.
Yeah, so all of the rest of the back-end time sequences that we do for the rest of the run are all going to be in Farron. The developers, I guess, were really good at the game of, like, scene flag minesweeper for these very specific scene flags. We can't really get any of these on Sky, conveniently, unfortunately.
So, we're actually going to do the same RBM that I did to show off what commits were earlier. But first we have to get past some Dagobabas. Turns out that you can just do that. Also, hey, a log.
Thanks, Fledge.
Thanks, Fledge. You're a good dude. So all we have to do is activate that cutscene and hit start. That flag sets on every frame for some reason.
Yeah, if the flag that the cutscene is trying to set is not set, the cutscene will just set it every frame.
So we once again have to commit. This is just a faster commit. We just have to do something. So, blowing up that rock with my best friend the cactus's help, actually blew up the other rock too. Okay, we blew up a rock. What's next?
Next, I believe we have to save Machi.
That sounds like that was definitely part of the plan. Like, just derail everything else. Machi.
Yeah.
Machi's a Kiwi. I like Kiwis quite a bit.
I also like Kiwis.
You were supposed to do this whole quest at the beginning in Farron that gives you the slingshot where you save all the Kiwis. But we kind of decided that we only care about saving Machi, and we're gonna do it on the title screen. Sorry to all the other Kiwis, including my favorite Kiwi, Ulo. I'm sorry, Ulo. But once again, we're gonna make another quick trip to Farron. And this is to spawn a minecart, because Machi's really cool and for some reason knows how to do that. And by knows how to do that, I mean shares convenient flags with the spawning of a minecart.
Yep. Yeah, so this specific reverse bit magic instance is actually not a scene flag. It is what we call a temporary flag, because it pretty much acts like a scene flag in every way, except when you leave the area you're in and come back, the flag is cleared and it's gone. These kinds of flags are usually used for things like, like you bonked this tree and a rupee fell out, right? So it sets a temporary flag just so you can't just like bonk the tree repeatedly and just farm rupees like that. So this flag
get rich quick schemes don't work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Thrill Digger exists still. So.
Oh, no. Okay, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so saving Machi activates one of those temporary flags in the Farron Woods, which just so happens to share a temporary flag value in the Lanayru Gorge, with the minecart being near the end of the track. And that's important because for whatever reason, the trigger for getting us to the proper lair of Lanayru Gorge is not the minecart being at the end of the track. It's the minecart riding over the piece of track right before the end of the track. Because it actually is very easy to get the minecart to the end of the track. There's just an RBM you can do for that, but that does not help us in this situation. Very unfortunately.
Alright, we've saved Machi.
Alright, Machi's been saved.
Hey, Machi! See you too. Thanks, Machi. So yeah, we just... Oh, I didn't want to do that. We just, save Machi and, hit start at a certain point, so that we can clear that text box, during the window after, the revert. So we have that saved now. And can save our game. and go back to visiting my best friend, the cactus. We spend a lot of time together. We're really well acquainted. Like, I need to flex my friendship with this cactus.
So the question in chat, what sets the Machi is saved flag? The specific flag that we want, the timing for it is, the specific flag is set as you clear Machi's first text box. So that's why we waited until the first text box to then start the file and then clear the text box so that we could get the flag. And there's actually like a bunch of other different flags that get set as well that like mean little different things, but that the one we specifically want gets set right then.
I'm just going to do another bit warp. Very exciting. Using the same save statue as before, and the same file, but we're actually on a different map now, because we're on Linearu Gorge instead of, like, General Linearu. And we're gonna run over here, and do a thing that we like to call jank jump.
Jank jump.
I really can't explain much of how it works other than it's just jank jump.
Yeah, it is just the jank jump. I mean, I guess like so we're trying to get up onto this wall that's to Link's right now. But the collision ends like right before we would be able to climb up onto the wall. So instead we have to do this really weird jump, which is not at all convenient just due to how the collision ends right here. So the setup for this is we first inch our way over to the edge of the ledge and then void out. And then we simply hold the A button to hopefully get the jump. All right, very good. And
Jank jump was kind today.
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it just doesn't.
It's supposed to be consistent.
I mean, I imagine if you could get to the exact same position every time it would be, but like even a slight variation in position is enough to screw it up. So
yeah,
that's why it's jank.
It also looks pretty janky, let's be real.
Yeah.
We're now gonna do a trick called a brake slide. This is all over most other routes and also HD, but we only do it once here. So, I'm gonna use the home menu to buffer holding my control stick slightly in the wrong direction to give me some weird momentum and void out closer to the door, which is gonna spawn the minecart.
Yep.
I swear it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, so when Pippi gives the game the weird inputs, Link's speed becomes negative. And in this game, like normally when you're going over quicksand, the quicksand is supposed to, you know, clamp your speed so that you can't just run over it because you're supposed to be slow in quicksand, right? But the quicksand only checks to see if your speed is above a certain value. But because our speed is negative, it's not above that value, right? It's negative. So it's just like, oh yeah, your speed is good. You can just go full steam ahead through the quicksand, no problem.
Now we're just escorting this minecart and also gonna sit on a stool.
Yep.
So we're gonna do something called Girahim 3 Escape, which is probably the most interesting trick in this run that has nothing to do with back in time.
Yes.
So I need to have more than 2 hearts to do that trick. Just gotta wait for the minecart to stop and save my game. Excellent. I'm definitely not saving because I'm about to hit myself with a cactus. Oh. Cactus. Must. But, so we want to have more than 2 hearts because we are going to take 2 hearts of damage during Girahim 3 Escape. So this is the last back in time in the run. We are going to set 1 more value, which is going to allow us to save the Thunder Dragon, which will give us access to the boss rush minigame and let us fight Girahim 3. However, we're going to fight the minigame mode of Girahim 3, and if we win the minigame, it's just gonna kick us out of the minigame and tell us good job and give us a little pat on the head. Then we don't really want that to happen. We want to fight the rest of the boss gauntlet. Win? But shoutouts to your average Link for being a wizard and finding this neat thing you can do where you manipulate platforms. So I'm gonna try to explain most of it now because it is unfortunately quite timing heavy, and I would like to not have to do it more than once. But if you remember the sealed grounds, that big spirally place that we looked at earlier, that we're about to enter into again back in time, that is where the final fight against Girahim is going to take place. And the first phase of the fight against Girahim, he is going to spawn these platforms that always want to be in the top center of the arena. And we would like not to kill Girahim, but to get to the bottom of the arena and out of bounds, where there is a save statue. Our goal is just to save and quit. There's a couple of complications that prevent us from just launching ourselves out of bounds and going to that save statue directly. One of them is that Girahim has a void plane, a set distance. I'm going the wrong way. A set distance below him at all times. And if we get too far below him, we're just gonna void out and it's gonna respawn us at the top center of the arena with Girahim. We don't want that. The other complication is there's kind of invisible walls all around this save statue. It's essentially a box with an open top. So we need to drop in from above, but Girahim needs to be low enough in the stage that the void plane below him is below the floor, so that we can, walk on the floor. That's kind of required. And the way we're gonna accomplish this is by doing some funny-looking dangles off the edge of a platform, and then magic. Essentially what we're manipulating is we're making it so that instead of moving up first, the platform is moving into the center and then up. Why that accomplishes that end, I really don't know. Does anybody know? I don't think so.
I don't know if I'd be able to. I don't think I could explain in detail, exactly why it works.
Just kinda does.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, well, if you do this, it should move horizontally first every time.
Alright, Fi appearing there is confirmation that we did the trick correctly. I'm gonna do a really aggressive safety save. There is only one possible fail case that would prevent me from retrying this. But just in case all hell breaks loose, we're gonna safety save. And then we're gonna have a long conversation with Thunder Dragon, because he's going to tell us how cool his minigame is, and that it's really scary, because we can't bring our end game items that we definitely have into his Boss Rush minigame. We don't only have the items we would have had during that fight in the regular run. Don't tell him we don't have any items. But he also is nice, and he's gonna let us bring our favorite shield with us. Did you know there are shields in this game?
Yeah, they're useful in 2 places in the All Dungeons speedrun.
Neat! Alright, step 1. We hit him off as fast as possible.
Excellent. And step 2.
Step 2, I resync my motion controls. I'll be doing that a lot, just in case. But now we're going to wait until he stands up. I wait until his feet touch the floor and then count to 4 on the timer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, drop. And we're gonna hit him off. There's a couple of ways to do this. I personally choose to wait a little bit extra on that hit. So I wait until the platform is just about to rise again to try to put me a little bit closer to him on this next phase. So once again, I'm going to wait for him to stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna try to hit him off as fast as possible. And now we're almost there. Gotta resync my motion controls one more time. And now is the most important part of the run. I need everybody to participate with me or the run doesn't count, okay? We're gonna wait for him to stand up, count to 2, and then we're gonna have a lot of fun. 1, 2. Whee!
Whee!
And now we're going to hit him off as fast as we can.
And now the platform is low enough so we don't void out when talking to this statue here.
Perfect. It wasn't actually perfect, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You'll never know what I did wrong. Only I know that. But we have save and quit our file and reopened our file. And now you'll notice by the fact that the timer is gone at the top of the screen. This is the actual Girahim 3 fight. And you might be wondering why we couldn't just run this way to get up this slope. This is a wall.
Yeah, it turns out there's an invisible wall there.
That's a wall.
There is actually like there's a reason that it makes sense for there to be an invisible wall there, but it's like kind of complicated. So just know that there's an invisible wall there.
But we would like to get back inbounds, thank you. And to do that, I would like Link to put his butt on a wall, thank you.
There we go. Get the butt slide.
And then inbounds was boring, so I'd like to be back out of bounds again, if at all possible.
Yeah, it turns out there's a tiny hole in this wall right here, so a proper lineup, we can just jump through it. Lining it up is a little bit tricky, though.
Come on, Link. You know you want to go through the wall. There we go. Walls aren't real. Now we're gonna go for a jog. We're gonna get in our cardio, because we have to find Girahim, and where's Girahim?
He's
up
all
there.
the way up there.
So, we're not gonna be able to get to him. There's really not a pathway over there. But we'll see what happens if we just go for a run. Going for a run always clears your head, right?
Yep.
And it makes you think of creative and innovative solutions to the problems at hand.
I do sometimes hate it when I'm going for a run and then suddenly the floor doesn't exist, though.
That's really unfortunate when that happens. Oh, Link
Yeah.
got tired. And also, the floor doesn't exist.
Oh, darn it. I was hoping that wouldn't happen to him. So
Oh,
unlucky.
hey, I found Girahim in this hole!
Ah, yeah.
So, unfortunately, if I deal damage to Girahim out of bounds, the game is going to crash.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't really like him being here. But luckily I can get him back inbounds if I just give him a little knock. He's now back in bounds, and now I need to get back in bounds. Perfect.
Excellent.
My favorite silly funny trick. So now we're just going to do the fight as intended, but he's kind of sliding. Something to do with how far the platform is moving, I think. Also, grabbing the edge there just makes him stand up immediately. I don't actually know if it's faster, but it's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is faster. At worst, it's probably like the same speed.
Oh, there we go. Alright. So next part has a really annoying strat. That's kind of free if you have True Master Sword, but unfortunately we have a toothpick. So hey, you want to talk about this? Well, I'm gonna try to do it. If I can't, we're just gonna do this back up. It's fine.
Yeah, so right now what Pippi's gonna try to do is she's gonna try to charge a Skyward Strike immediately after knocking the sword out of Girahim's hand, and then really fast try to do a Skyward Stab at him to get him into a stun lock, but it's really hard to do this. Oh yeah, there we go, just like that. It's really hard to do that successfully because you have to be really quick with charging up the Skyward Strike and really quick with performing the stabbing motion. Okay, now we can get in some more hits. So the reason this takes forever with the toothpick is because the toothpick doesn't really do much damage.
Yeah, we kind of got here without getting any other sword. Oops. I don't know why. That was just muscle memory. We'll see if we can get one more time.
But the Skyward Strikes, if they manage to hit Girahim in the chest, actually do true Master Sword damage because we have the powered up Skyward Strike from the normal mode playthrough that this hero mode playthrough is based off of. So getting the stun locks is very good because you do the Skyward Strike damage, which does a lot. But again, it is very hard to do properly.
That is not sanitary.
And he spawns a new one in every time.
Okay, so I still went lick it, but that's just...
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't either.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm just trying to be showy. There we go. That's the longest and most annoying phase.
Also, the shadow is still here.
Yeah,
It's not supposed to be here.
that black smoke, I think somebody told me that's foreshadowing that Girahim is evil.
Yes, it's very good foreshadowing by the developers about how Girahim is evil when he spawns in that black smoke and calls you a wretched brat.
Oh, that was a mistake. Okay. You get
Also,
over it.
shoutouts to backflipping in this game, just making Link completely invincible.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, you have a ridiculous amount of iframes doing a backflip. Gets you out of a lot of binds. Oh, come on, motion controls. Work with me. Cooperate. We're on the same team. Unfortunately, we cannot Skyward Strike him, or Skyward Stab him, as it were, during this phase. So we just kind of have to... It's a marathon,
Do this a
not
lot.
a sprint. Oh,
Yeah.
and I ran out of stamina. Give Girahim a hug with your free time and stab him.
Yeah, it's okay. He waits for us.
Yeah, he does. It's really kind of him. Alright. What comes after Girahim 3.2?
I believe the next is the final boss, Demise.
Oh, wow. Neat.
Yeah.
This is the end of the game.
Yeah.
We got there, y'all.
Go from Lanayru Gorge to the end of the game.
Alright. My motion controls don't often cooperate during this, so let's see how this goes.
And thankfully, unlike Girahim, Demise is only hit-based, so it doesn't actually matter how much damage your sword can do. It'll take the same amount of hits regardless of which sword you have. The only real difference is that the later swords are slightly longer, so they're a little bit easier to hit him with, but as long as you get close enough with the toothpick, you can still do the same strategies.
That was the hardest part of the fight.
Yeah, also a really good first phase there.
Alright.
The lightning
ready?
strike, which does not line up with the sword visually. And GG's.
And that is Skyward Sword any percent. It's full of a lot of glitches. We got here way earlier than we were supposed to. Also, shoutouts to Link doing this whole thing in his pajamas.
Yep.
We're joining Wind Waker in the proud tradition of pajama runs. I mean, I'd like to be in pajamas. It's late. That would be cozy. But as Demise disintegrates, I do think we had another break to take, and we also have a couple of more glitches to show off real quick after this. Church, how we doing? Have we lost our host?
Church.
Okay, one of these
good.
days.
I was hoping chat wouldn't riot.
One of these days, I'm going to remember to unmute my mic. It hasn't happened yet. This is I think the 7th show in a row. Any. Yeah, we're good to take a break before the glitch exhibition. Yeah.
Wonderful. We'll get that set up for y'all.
Yeah. So yeah, just during these longer shows, we like to take breaks so everybody can get up, stretch, get some water, anything they need to do. Just a quick reminder before we go to the break, if you're watching over on YouTube, be sure to press the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, you can go to twitch.tv/GamesOnQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. That said, we'll be back in just a few minutes here for the glitch exhibition. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is Out of Bounds. We have just, we've gone through a lecture, we've watched the run, we've seen the practical application, and now we're going to be looking at some glitch exhibitions. I'll hand it right back over to Pippi. Just as a reminder, there is an exam at the end. Everybody is still passing, but there is an exam.
There will definitely be an exam, yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a lovely break. I know I did. So, let's look at some nonsense. More nonsense than the fact that I destroyed all these files earlier. They are the same files, but they will not be for very much longer. Hey Jim, you're still here again, right? Haven't Quantum existed?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Nice. Confirmation of existence is good. Between Farron, Lanayru, and Eldon, can you pick your favorite area?
My favorite what? I think you cut out.
Your favorite area.
Oh, favorite area. Between Farron, Lanayru, and Eldon. I think it was definitely not Lanayru. I think I'll probably go with Farron on this one.
Farron, great. Gonna do the most complicated stuff first. Now, I'd like to set some goals for. We're gonna practice hobbies with intentions here. I would like to set some goals for the completion of this glitch exhibition. There's a lot of silly things that you can do in Skyward Sword. Some of it through bit, some of it not. And I would like to try my best, try my very, very best, to show everyone at home something that they've never seen before. And as an extra stretch goal, we're gonna try real hard to show Jim something he's never seen before. So hey Jim, how long have you been playing Skyward Sword?
I believe I did my first Skyward Sword speedrun 9.5 years ago.
Cool. I did my first speedrun in November. So I'm new.
In the grand scheme of time, that's basically the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. Coincidentally, I'm pretty sure we probably started playing the game initially around the same date. Definitely a coincidence, and definitely not something to do with North American release dates or something like that. However, I then stopped playing it for 9 years. Oops. But I'm gonna try my best. We're probably gonna fail. I'm gonna try my best. I also have had help. Don't question that. I low-key have the entire community on my side. Whoopsies. All right, so
I'm sure it's gonna be good then.
We're gonna start with something I know you've seen before, but people at home maybe haven't. We're gonna warp straight to the credits.
Excellent.
So, as you can see, we've got 3 files set up, and oh, hey, look, this one's a corrupt file. Neat.
You guys remember what that means?
Wonder what's gonna happen. Oh, well, I should have seen that coming. We died at a different save statue this time. That's pretty neat. Well, alright. Hey, Jim, you want to explain cutscene wrong warping?
Yeah, so aside from what we showed you guys earlier, there are many more, I don't know about many more, there are a few more weird things you can get to happen in Back in Time, and one of those is cutscene wrong warping, right? Hold on, I have to actually think again about how to say this too, because I'm trying to remember how it works.
Don't worry, we have plenty of time while I set this up.
Right, so let's see. To do a cutscene wrong warp, you need to die back in time, right? And then you need to hit continue on the game over screen and back in time, and then I believe you have a 2-frame window to hit start, if I'm remembering correctly, or is it start and then continue? It's one of those two. You either hit start and then continue, or you hit continue and then hit start within a 2-frame window. And depending on what layer of a map you are on when that happens, you can sort of bring over the spawn point that you have on the file that you're starting to spawn in a different location on the map that you are on very briefly, right? When you do this, the game will only show you spawning in that new location for like a split second or so before it fades out. But some of the spawns in this game are actually just spawns that immediately trigger a cutscene. And if that cutscene that you immediately trigger is skippable, you can do this trick and then skip the cutscene to essentially perform a reverse bit warp with your file into the cutscene for whatever cutscene it may be. And so as it turns out, the credits in this game is made up of a sequence of cutscenes. So with cutscene wrong warping, it is possible to set this up in such a way so that you can simply reverse bit warp into the credits. Perform a credits warp.
All right, perfect timing. We're gonna do things a little bit differently. Because as it turns out, I am not super practiced in doing a 2-frame trick that I don't actually have to do in any percent, and I'm not practiced in all dungeons at this moment. So instead, we are going to... we're gonna... Out of the way. Cram. Everything's fine. We are going to do things a little bit differently. I'm trying to talk here, sir. It's okay. He's up here and he's perfectly fine up here. We're gonna be doing things a little bit differently. This is not possible to do were it not for the fact that my save files have been a little bit edited. Shoutouts to Copernicus who did this. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Because that means that y'all get to see the trick, even if I am not personally proficient in pulling it off, and also in a way more interesting way. And we also get to see a fun variant on it. So we are going to, instead of doing some death stuff, we're just going to enter a cutscene. So we're going to enter that on file 1. And I'm just double checking my notes to make sure that I don't do this incorrectly. We're gonna start file 1, walk forward, and press T. Hopefully that was right.
Yeah, that looked correct.
Oh, hey, look, the credits!
Oh my goodness, wow.
Neat! Beautiful. See, we skipped straight to the credits since we didn't get to watch the credits earlier. Now this is all very heartwarming and fun, but while I was learning how to do this, I actually did something wrong and found something else amusing that I'm now going to share with y'all.
Excellent.
This is, to my understanding, how glitch hunting works correctly. So, we're gonna die again. And to do that previously, I had bit saved file 2, because I need to bit save a file that has my Loftwing on it, so that, you know, I can call my Loftwing and back in time and get to Farron. But file 1, which is the file that we're using to actually perform the credits warp, or perform the wrong warp, also has my Loftwing. So, what happens if we set the map on the file that we are trying to use to warp to to the title screen.
I think I know what's gonna happen here.
So we still would like file 2 as we are jumping off this cliff, I believe. We'd still like not to crash. Somewhere over here there's a load zone. There it is. Found it.
It's somewhere out there.
No, it's not file 1. It's file 3. Again, we just need to enter these pillars with any file that will not spawn the map, and the check for that is whether or not you've been to the area before. If you've been to the area before, it'll open a map saying, like, hey, where do you want to go? But if we have a corrupt file, it's never been anywhere.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess for those maybe wondering about like the map and crashing and whatnot, basically if the game tries to pull up the map right now, it is trying to display too many UI elements and is not happy. Because the title screen is also taking up a lot of the UI space.
It's an amusing thing to go wrong. A common complaint I hear people have... Oh, hello? Hello?
File 2, maybe?
What, there we go.
Yeah.
Interesting. Magic! We want to be on file 1. Just double checking. Also, all of this weirdness will happen again. There are still 2 of him. And he's still fighting nothing. And also up here, rather confused. Ah, good, we only had to watch it once this time. Alright. So now I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did before, but this time, I have bit saved. I didn't need to do that. If you hit down on the directional pad, it is going to recenter your motion controls. And also, with certain files open, it will call Phi. Alright, so same deal. We're gonna walk up, hold 2, and see what happens. Oh, I did it wrong. Cool. Excellent. Shh, we'll fix it. We'll fix it, it's fine. I'm just gonna refresh the files and make sure it's fine. Apologies.
Yeah, usually, like, the cutscene wrong warp will be successful, usually if you, like, see something kind of weird flash for, like, half a second. In the sealed grounds there, you usually see this really weird shot of, like, being inside, like, the Gate of Time textures, I think. It's like, really weird. Because I guess the camera doesn't know where to go.
I promise this... You did happen to pick the most technical trick I had. A lot of them are going to be turn your brain off funny, so don't worry. But we're getting our thinking out of the way early.
Yeah.
But we can get back there really quick. But we'll speedrun it. We're speedrunners, right?
Yeah. I guess now could be a good time to explain, like, you know, why do certain maps or layers crash in Back in Time? So when you're on the title screen, the game basically has to load in, like, the, you know, what we call the archive file for, like, all of this title screen, like, UI elements and everything. But the title screen is only ever designed to load in that archive file while it's also loading in the specific layer of Skyloft. And it turns out that when the game loads in this archive file for the title screen, it loads it in, like, a really bad location in the game's memory that fragments the memory.
Ignore me, I just did something stupid.
In the...
I managed to accidentally fall off my loft wing and then recall it without the ability to jump off.
Oh yeah.
I
that
swear
could
this will
happen.
be funny. I swear it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
But yeah, so basically, if you try to load certain maps in back in time that are above a specific file size, there just is not enough of a free block in memory to load in the entire file. So the game's like, well, there's not enough memory. That's it. That's all, folks. Crash.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, come on. Why have I done this again? I was trying to hit file 1. Thank you. Alright, we're just gonna be really intentional with all my button presses, apparently. And not hit down by accident. I think we also did not mention earlier, why Link screams? I made a joke about it and then didn't explain it. So without a better idea of where to spawn you in, it just kind of spawns you at the origin of the map. So that's
yeah.
0, 0, 0. But that's not file 1. The origin of the map for Skyloft is actually out of bounds. Not a place you want to be. So it just voids you out immediately and then tries to play that cutscene of the like Knight Academy person being like, oh, be careful, don't fall off the edge, but can't find the actor. So it just kind of plays broken things. And that it just kind of gives you a weird panning shot where it goes through the floor, which is amusing. It's also quite annoyingly slow at times, that we do have to watch that broken cutscene quite often. There we go.
Yeah. Also, a little bit of a miracle that Skyloft is, I guess the sky in general is, one of the only places in the game where if you void out somewhere, you automatically respawn in like a predetermined spot. If that was like any other place in the game, Link would just be in another infinite void out loop, and back in time would be useless. Well, for the most part.
It's kind of a miracle that it works as well as it does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now let's do it correctly and not hit start too early. Ready? Please? No! I did again. Alright, whatever. I guess we're not showing off that trick because apparently I miffed it too many times. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. It's the pressure.
Okay.
It's the pressure. We'll blame it on that.
So what's supposed to happen?
It shows you a Windows desktop background.
That's fantastic.
It's just kind of an infinite loop of pretty sky. You can't do anything.
No, yeah, what I believe essentially what happens in that situation is you load into the title screen, but you don't load the title screen itself. So like the title screen in this game is basically just an infinite cutscene that you end by selecting a file. But if you can't if you don't have any files to select or like anything to go off of, then it's just infinitely looking at the sky.
Yeah.
It's very peaceful.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I'm sorry that I didn't get to show that one off. All right, let's look on to something more fun. Do you want Lineru or Girahim 3.2?
Let's go with Lineru.
Lineru? Oh, that's not what I want to do. There we go. Lineru. That should be right here. All right. So, we are back in Lineru Gorge. Exciting. And I would like to be out of bounds, actually. We're gonna have some fun with layers. At least I think this is a layering issue. I think. It's very funny regardless of what it is. So, we're once again going to enter back in time. And hey, just like in the run, we're going to do a bit warp to get out of bounds. Just like we did with Jank Jump, we're going to get into the middle of nowhere. And instead of going to go do Jank Jump, we're going to go run into a cave. Because that's where I want to be. Oh, this didn't give me the right files. Brain? Is it just not gonna work? I'm sorry, I'm not used to working with this program. Can I fix this, or did this just eat my files?
Oh, did you like accidentally delete something?
No, I thought it would. I have like save states set.
Oh, yeah.
And it wants to eat them.
Yeah, save states and like back in time don't play well with each other.
They don't like each other.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get this to work. Because I might have to.
I think if you're able to load the save state and then resave, I think that'll make it work. But this looks like it should be good.
We'll see if these files work.
Yeah.
We have now become the letter T. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I hit a button and now we're the letter T. We're gonna do the same thing anyway. It may have eaten the saves that I intended to use for this, but hopefully these saves will work anyway. And if not, we're gonna tell Link to take a nap and I'll be fine. Okay. So this file is also saved at Linear Gorge. And hopefully should work. I might actually have to despawn the Thunder Dragon for it to work. You were supposed to grab the platform, Link. This is a comedy of errors, everyone. Thank you. There we go. Yes, I do have to despawn the Thunder Dragon real quick. That's okay. This is something we don't ever have to do in the run. But did you know you can untrigger minecarts? I might have to, yeah. This is the true Skyward Sword experience. Is why did my save file do that?
Yeah, that's the Skyward Sword learning experience. Why didn't this work? Oh, because you forgot to do this really small thing 25 minutes ago. That's why.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. Like, one of the most fun things to me about Skyward Sword runs is actually when they go really wrong. When I do something stupid and have to, like, figure out how to fix it. Like, yeah, I could just pitch the run, but what if I want to figure out how to fix it? And it becomes, like, a really interesting puzzle of trying to figure out, well, if I accidentally bit saved this file instead of this file, is there a way to recover from that? And there are a couple of ways. I didn't need to do it that aggressively. There are a couple of ways that, like, you can actually just work your run files. I one time accidentally duped a file over my file 1. I duped a file over my file 1, and that you really can't recover from. Your progress is just gone. Oopsie doopsie, hope you didn't like file 1. But, fortunately, like, if you just accidentally bit saved in the wrong spot, often you can, like, go find a way to put that file back into maybe not the same location, but a location that'll work. And maybe you lose some time, but, like, that's okay. You're doing science, I think, or comp sci.
Science with magic.
Yeah. I argue that science is just a magic system that we think we know how it works. Right?
Yeah, that's an interpretation.
Alright, now let's see if this will work. Yeah. Let's see. Please. Yes, I know you saved the game. I'm very proud of you. Okay. The Thunder Dragon is not spawned. Let's see if we can find a minecart. No, it's not on this file. I'm sorry. This file's on the wrong layer. Unfortunate. All right. This is going wonderfully. I'm trying to think if any other files have that. I'm sorry, I swear these glitches work. I'm just running into
they do
issues.
Work, but a lot of the back in time stuff is like complicated to set up.
Yeah. All right,
So-
fine. We'll find other stuff to do in Linearu. I had more for Linearu than just Infinite Void Planes, which was what that is. How about teleporting? How do you feel about teleporting?
That sounds fun. I enjoy me a good teleport.
This one is the only one that actually has items. I have to figure out how to use items. Welcome to Skyward Sword. Any percent runner has to figure out how to use the beetle. Oh, not like that. Okay, hold on. Yes, thank you. I got $1. I just want the shrub. I don't want to break the shrub. All right. We have a bush. I think this has something to do with despawning stuff. I really don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know how this trick works. I do know it works though, and it was working earlier, so let's do it. Let us pick up a bush.
Picked up the bush.
This is my new friend. We're going on an adventure together. We're going on a very short venture together to go say hi to this Ampulus. Oh. Hey, Bush. Hey, Bush. Can you go in the corner, please? We're gonna shove this bush in the corner. And the bush is invisible. Everything's
Oh my
fine,
goodness.
don't worry about it.
Is this SRM?
Definitely SRM. Totally. We're now going to, oh hey, a tumbleweed. A single tumbleweed. We're now going to go on a magical adventure. This is called bush warping, I think? Bush teleporting?
Yeah, bush teleport.
So we go up here. And just look over. Oh. And now I'm out of bounds.
Yep.
Magical teleporting bushes. Do you know how that works? Because I sure do not.
I would only be able to give like a vague yes. I don't know the specifics of how it works. I assume the bush's last like saved position was where it disappeared. And
Yeah.
when you try to finally like reload the objects in that area, the invisible bush that Link has tries to go back there really fast. And like drags Link with it or something like that. That's my best guess.
I'm pretty sure from what I understand, it tries to put you where you picked up the bush that went invisible. And,
okay, yeah, where you picked it up would make sense. Yeah.
Then if you can put out of bounds in the way, it just takes you out of bounds. But fun bush adventures, that one works. And this is something in Back in Time that will work. I do know this will work because it does not matter where in Back in Time we are. We're going to let Link take a nap. He's tired. He's been doing this a long time. So we let him take a short nap during the run, but what if he wants to sleep for longer than that? What if it's past his bedtime? What if?
Well, sometimes we should, sleep for a little longer.
Yeah, how long do you want to sleep? Until night.
Until night sounds good. But when will it become night?
Never.
Never.
Yeah. You can do this with any time that the screen fades to black, apparently. I don't have control of Link anymore, and he will never get up. It's bedtime.
Yeah, it's
bedtime for Link. Sweet dreams, friend. But unfortunately, I do need him to wake up because we do have some more fun stuff. Nighty-night, Link. Sleep tight. And fight Girahim 3. Hi, this is Girahim 3. So, we're gonna look at some weirdness. And the first weirdness I would like to look at is something that is actually a very common time loss. If I can just get you out of bounds, or back in bounds, sir. And happens in runs by accident quite often. Which is, hey, remember how, like, the platforms are moving too much and he's all slidey if I do this? So if I hit him towards the edge, punchy, and just try to hit him off normally.
He goes.
Bye! Bye! Hey, Girahim. Oh, there we go. He just kind of does that, and that's an unfortunate time loss. You gotta be kind of careful about that in actual runs. That's fine, I can fix that. Also, I've missed my train. If you jump off the platform, it just kind of goes away. Girahim's up there now. I'm gonna wait for it to stop moving. And go over here, because there's more holes in the ground. And I have respawned Girahim out of bounds. But there's something a little bit different this time. Girahim only has 1 health left, if I did my math correctly. Thank you. Actually, can you scooch a little bit? Can you scoot? Hey. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's not going to move if you're below him.
Friend? Okay, there we go. Okay. I just would like to hit you back in bounds. Thank you. Okay. Sir. The game really...
Girahim's got the hops.
Really isn't happy with you for doing this. That counted as getting... He is so sassy right now. Okay. There we go. Alright. We have hit him back in bounds with some amount of eventfulness. And just like before, we're gonna fling ourselves on top of him. But now the platform is out of bounds. So we're gonna play Where's Girahim? Where's Girahim? Where is he? Oh, he's over here. It just doesn't really put him in the correct location. He's gonna teleport right back, but it is quite amusing. And one more funny thing, if I can get it for you. Excuse me, Girahim. We just have to get through this phase of the fight first, unfortunately, because I need to be here. I need to be in phase 3. I have another chance to do the trick that I spent so long learning. Also, ignore my chair is passively spinning. I love having a spinny chair and playing a game with
Yeah.
It's great. It happens all the time during runs. Oh, you and your RNG, sir. You and your RNG. Oh, it's not where it looks like it should be.
I love the Skyward Sword runner pastime of, okay, where is up?
Yup.
I would like to find exactly where up is.
Where is up? Where do you think forward is, and why? Please stop licking things! Listen, I feel like I should not have to ask you not to lick things. There we go. Oh, and he was one hit away. Alright. So, it's a good thing we have some extra health, because this can be kind of annoying. But I'm going to try to bait him over here. And then go for a walk over here. And, oh, okay. Hey, I want you to stay over here, then. Thanks.
He's walking menacingly over.
Yeah, he'll just walk really slowly. It's this one. And I am going to try. No, he's not. I'm going to try to perform the same trick I did earlier, but this time under duress.
Somehow this is how this clip was originally found.
Makes sense. Okay, let's do this correctly this time. Please. That works.
There we
Alright. Got there. So he's just gonna get upset if I start running this way. If I run far enough the spiral, he will eventually start teleporting aggressively, and then I can't tell, either teleport into a wall or completely despawn. Either way, not super productive because I'm more interested in fencing. So if we get far enough away from him, he comes out of bounds with us. Okay, and my motion controls still don't know where up is. They really don't know where up is. We're gonna resync. I'm told I resync my motion controls weird. Oh, get 2 teleports. I'm pretty sure every Skyward Sword runner has just a methodology for resyncing motion controls that they default to. But one of the interesting sort of trade-offs between HD and SD is that HD actually desyncs a lot easier than SD does because we have a filter bar, but is harder, or is easier to, rather, to resync than SD is. That they can just press a button. We have to do some sword slashies and hope that the thing goes, oh yeah, that's forward. Got it. Got there. Alright. Come on, friend. Alright. I'm not gonna skip the cutscene because I'd like to look at that fencing. It'll be there for the entire cutscene. I don't know why it's there. It is a single block of fencing. Just one. This cutscene is very long and spawns like... there it is! It spawns in like 4 different characters to talk to you, and there's just a fence there the entire time. The imprisoned one? Fence. Demise? Fence. There it is!
Let's see, yeah, that's... Oh, wait, is that, I think that's the fence that's supposed to spawn in when, like, you get to the bottom of the horde. And it, like, locks you in there. I think that's what that's supposed to be.
Oops. Fence. Alright, we've had plenty of fun with fencing. But I've got one more bit of fun for y'all to end off on. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Cause this should be correct. Nope, it's this one. We're gonna fight Scaldera. But we're actually not going to fight Scaldera. I'm just gonna talk about Scaldera while we juggle Scaldera and show you how you would set this trick up. But this trick takes so long to set up, we're gonna skip over the boring parts. So let's talk about how Scaldera takes damage. He has a health pool that when his eye is exposed, you deal him damage. It will deal damage to that health pool. Nice. What if I don't? So every time I hit him with a bomb, it actually does a tiny bit of damage, I think. At least he behaves as if it does. I'm not 100% sure. But it does get rid of his armor, which makes the target size for his eye larger and larger. His eye is also hardly ever exactly where you think it should be. So we're going to do 2 fun little tricks right now. I just hooked my Wiimote onto the arm of my chair. Good job. But both of them are going to happen during the phase transition of Scaldera. So I'm actually setting up for the second trick first, in which I need Scaldera to have no armor left at all. I want him to have 0 armor, but not have done any damage to his eye. Because also, he will never transition phases unless I deal damage to his eye. He just won't. It doesn't check to see how much damage I've dealt for some reason. He will, however, behave more and more erratically and be more and more aggressive as I go. And it may look like he doesn't have that much armor left. He does. So, hey, let's skip the boring part. Oops, not that one. There one. We're gonna skip to right before the phase transition. And I'm going to do 2 things. The first one is a very common trick and is the most fun Scaldera softlock. So let's softlock Scaldera. We like to call this putting the meatball in the sauce. So I'm going to try to do a decently specific amount of damage to Scaldera, and then I'm going to run behind him, and he usually only moves up and down the stage, but for some reason, during his transition animation, he will jump towards the player. And if you are in a range of angles, that won't be up or down. Let's have fun. Hold on. This is annoyingly kind of specific. We want 1, 2, 3, and I would like to be over here, please. Woo! There he goes.
And there he goes.
Bye, Scaldera! He's down here now.
He's in the sauce.
Welcome to everyone's favorite Scaldera softlock. Except that it's not a softlock, because I'm a dirty liar. So, he's gonna try to climb up at me. And this is why I say his eye is never quite where you think it is. There we go! And now he's sideways!
He really died this time.
You can get 1 hit off. You just get 1. And if he's trying to climb when you hit him, it resets his coordinates, but it does not reset his positioning. Thank you, Scaldera, for being sideways.
Thank you very much, Scaldera.
But I'm sorry that a couple of the glitches in the exhibition did not want to work out working through Dolphin, but that is I think what I have for you. So how'd I do? Anything remotely new?
I admittedly did not know about the fence in the cutscene.
Single win!
That's the one I haven't seen.
But had you seen Sideways Scaldera?
I'd heard of Sideways Scaldera, but had not seen it before, no.
This is the part of the show where, I say thank you to a bunch of people, so shout outs to everybody who helped contribute to and set this up and helped with everything along the way. The huge shout outs to Copernicus for helping me with a bunch of stuff, to Mini, what numbers are at the end of Mini's name?
352.
Those ones. Mini 352. for the help and assistance getting stuff set up, and for the wonderful ideas. Thank you everyone who found any of these glitches. Also thank you to Neutronium who helped me with some of the technical side setup, for getting some of this the visuals working as well as we can. Let's go someplace with better music. Where is this? That works. But yes, thank you to everyone in the community who helped out, and this is also the part of the show where I say that glitch hunting is a community effort and is a silly labor of love, and a lot of times things are found just because somebody who had never seen it before looked at something funny. Hey, that's where Sideways Scaldera came from. The Sideways Scaldera came from me oopsing while practicing Scaldera, and for the longest time I would tell people about it readily, but did not have any footage of it. It's useless. It's so slow, but it's pretty funny. And well, that wound up being a very useless glitch. You never know what could be useful, so hey, get involved. Sometimes the missing ingredient for the next big glitch breakthrough is you, viewer. Wow. Also, huge thank you to Church for having this on, and to Kung Fu for letting us on her show, and to Jim for joining me on this wild ride.
Of course, always happy to explain back in time.
An hour of back in time, everybody's favorite. But yeah, that is my spiel. Oh my gosh, that is my spiel. Is there anything else that anybody would like to say about Skyward Sword or life?
You should speedrun Skyward Sword.
Crash your Wii. It's fun.
And yeah, crash your Wii.
Really fun, I swear. Really easy too.
Skyward Sword does have a very fast crash percent.
You can die, you can crash. Church, did you have anything else for us?
Yeah, so like we said, I don't know, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, there is a test at the end. So everybody in chat, in the comments, did you have fun, yes or no?
What a fun test question. I'm glad we let the TA build the test for us.
Look, I said everybody was gonna pass. I had to give odd question.
Do you still pass if you didn't write your name at the top?
We're speedrunners. Anybody passes. Whatever. if you cheat on this exam, yeah, you win. You know, our producer's asking if they can look at my answer. You can look at anybody's answer. I don't know, whatever. Everybody passes. Do what you want. Cheating is just the speed running way, right?
Yes. This is out of bounds, and glitches are always cheating, right?
If you read comments, yeah.
if you read YouTube comments.
YouTube, we love you.
Thank you for being kind to each other in the comments, YouTube. Thank you.
But yeah, I do want to thank you both. You've both been extremely informative. This has been amazing. Back in time is a wild thing, and you both made it not a wild thing, which is saying a lot.
I believe the written goal for this entire showcase was make Back in Time less of a mind melt. Still a mind melt, but maybe a little bit less.
It has begun to approach understandability. But yeah, I think you both did a very great job in explaining that and explaining everything in the run and the stuff behind the Glitch exhibition, explaining things that wouldn't necessarily be seen with this stuff normally in runs. But I think y'all did a great job, so thank you so much. It's been awesome. I had a blast. With that said, if y'all don't have anything else, that is the end of our show for the night. Tune in tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know. I should know what times are. I don't know why I blanked there. 7 p.m. Eastern, RNG followed by aimbot is going on tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break while we look for somebody to raid. If y'all wouldn't mind sticking around so we can cheer on somebody in their speedruns, that would be awesome. Have a great night, everybody.